homecoming Saturday here in Albion, Michigan, as the Britons get ready to battle the Flying Dutchman of Hope. Jim Bellamy joined by our normal sideline guest, John Bolello. But John, you are doing color broadcasting today. Welcome to the booth.
Thank you. I'm moving up in the world.
Yeah, you get to wear a headset. You don't have to brave the elements today, and you get to still enjoy what's going to be a great contest between two very hungry squads. The Britons come in, of course, undefeated on the season, 4-0. And they will take on the Hope Flying Dutchmen, who come into today's contest with a 2-2 record. This is a very pivotal MIAA contest to pretty much establish, John, who the upper echelon of teams are. Hope has always battled the Britons tough, but again, Hope having another one of those kind of magical seasons so far. We don't want to jinx it, because it's only been 4 games, but they've really shown a lot of different ways to win.
Right.
So it's going to be a tough contest, as I said, but again, it's homecoming. So homecoming is one of those days where, there's a lot of activity, of course, going on around campus. Let's just take a moment, if we could, John, and talk about, from a student-athlete's perspective, what homecoming week kind of means to you.
Well, as an athlete, we get a lot of recruits, NCC recruits for, we're on the lacrosse team, so we're going to get a lot of those guys. But it's a really great time for family to come out and kind of experience football games such as this, or experience downtown with the new brewery, and kind of just togetherness more. And I know we just finished up our lacrosse fall season, so now we're relaxing. We get to come to more games, support other teams that are just starting up, such as basketball, and make it out to more volleyball games. It's a fun environment right now.
So with homecoming being as busy as it is, and I know the entire Albion College staff does a tremendous job putting events together leading up to and beyond, of course, today's football game and its halftime and pregame festivities. But you mentioned something about, I believe, an alumni game that happened earlier today?
That's right. I partook at least for a few minutes of our lacrosse team's alumni game, where we had some guys come back from, I'd say not as far back as probably some other teams, but some, I think, 2013 grads and stuff. It was very cool to see those guys.
Just a fun time, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. You see just time flying, people getting adult jobs and moving to Detroit and all sorts of stuff. It's makes me a little anxious.
Well, you have a little bit of time.
Right.
So, you just keep studying and keep doing a great job here. Well, let's take a look at last week's games. First, let's start with the home Albion Britons. The Britons needed 2 overtimes before they were able to dispatch of the home team, the Alma squad. And, boy, what an awesome game. I got a chance to watch the second half and the overtimes of that contest. Albion eventually comes through with a 37-34 victory. Andrew Fabry kicked 3 field goals, including a 33-yarder in the second overtime period, and the team escaped with that 37-34 victory. It was the opening week of MIAA action, so the Brits were able to continue that undefeated season. But this was a tough contest really all the way through. 17-14 Brits at halftime, but a good 14-7 third quarter put Alma ahead. And then the Brits actually scored the tying touchdown with about a minute to go in regulation. They ran a hurry-up offense, and they were able to punch that ball in with about a minute to play. And the defense held, of course, to force overtime, traded field goals in the first overtime period. The Britons got the stop, and then Fabry kicked the game-winning 33-yard field goal in the second overtime for the win. In terms of the game balance and game flow, the offense was really clicking on both sides. The passing game got about 260 yards. Thomas put up 259, and the ground game was extremely effective as well. 273 yards compared to only 150 for Alma. The Brits did turn the ball over 3 times, and that's something that they're going to need to correct as we continue to get into the conference season. So let's take a few minutes here and let's look back at some highlights of last week's 2 overtime thriller for the Brits.
35. He's got the size to fight back. Thomas keeps it himself on an option this time. Bursts outside the left, inside the 10, and full speed ahead. Kyle Thomas puts Albion back on top. On quarterback, receiver on the left. Stevens to throw, locked it over the middle. Combine Joker and Ephesian. Touchdown, you remember St. Joey Joker over the inside. Elbow into that. Ripper calls it. We'll get it down. He's up. And it is through. A second lead for the second. They're wasting a lot of time. They let a lot of time roll off. Thomas in the pocket. Pressure comes close to a hole. Rolling left. Thomas going to try to run for it. Heads for the pylon. It dives across. Signal. Touchdown. Albion with 10 seconds to play. Albion in the lead. Snap is back. Just quick throwing short, and I don't think it got there. Just cleared the crossbar. The fans in the crowd did not. Snap good hold. Kick is up and good. On the way. They snap it back, get it down. Kick is up and going, and it is good. And the game is over. Albion escapes 37-34. Andrew Fabry wins that day at the end.
Those of you folks at home pumping your fist one more time at that game-winning 33-yard field goal by Andrew Fabry. Again, a thrilling 37-34 victory on the road last week against the Alma Scots. And Jim and John getting ready to send it down to the field to talk about this year's Athletic Hall of Fame class. And so in about 10 seconds or so, we'll be sending it over to the public address announcer, and we'll give you the announcement of the 2018 Hall of Fame class here at Albion College.
The Albion College Athletic Hall of Fame received 11 new members last night. We'd like to take this homecoming opportunity to introduce our new members. Brandon Crawford, a men's basketball standout from the class of 2006. Tennis star Amy Green Downey from the class of 2003. Christian Hall, a men's track and field performer from the class of 1996. Jim Heaslip, a member of the class of 1995, who represented the Britons in football and in track and field. Dustin Lowert, a football standout from the class of 2005. Ivan Meering, a member of the class of 2005, who represented the Britons in football and in track and field. Distance runner Nick Mockridge from the class of 2004. He competed in cross country and track and field. Katie Turner Groskin, a member of the class of 2006, who represented Albion in tennis. Football and baseball player Derek Tracy from the class of 2007. Longtime faculty athletics representative Mike Van Houten. And Steve Wassel, a member of the class of 2006, who quarterbacked the football team and is now an assistant coach for the Britons. In addition, the MIAA champion men's track and field team from 1993 and women's tennis team from 2003 were also inducted. Ladies and gentlemen, the Albion College Hall of Fame class of 2018.
And we appreciate the BA announcer giving us all the information about, of course, that's Jeff Carrier, that voice you heard. Dr. Carrier giving us the 2018 Athletic Hall of Fame class. And John Bolello is here to tell us about last week's Hope contest against Trine. John?
Yeah, Hope College gave nationally ranked Trine University a scare last week, pretty much giving it all they had before Trine scored 2 late fourth quarter touchdowns to defeat the Dutchmen 35-25. Hope held the nation's third leading rushing offense to nearly half of its season average of 370 yards per game, but Trine, of course, produced go-ahead drives of 65 and 49 yards on its first 2 fourth-quarter possessions. So now the Dutchmen, they have fallen to 2-2 overall, dropping that game, of course, their MIAA opener, in a game that saw 6 lead changes. Now for some stats from that game, the Flying Dutchman recorded 11 tackles for loss, including 3.5 by senior defensive end Tate Knapp of Dorr, Michigan. Knapp forced a fumble on a sack, a quarterback Brandon Winters that was recovered by linebacker Toby Holst of Caledonia, Michigan, and set up Johnson's 35-yard field goal for a 4-point Hope lead with 12:18 remaining in the match. Then junior linebacker Mason Decker of Holland, Michigan, how about that? Holland, Michigan, going to Hope, collected a team-high 11 tackles for the Flying Dutchman. Meanwhile, product of Hudsonville, Michigan, Mason Apple threw a fourth-quarter touchdown pass to fullback Logan Shadia of Oakland, Michigan, and scored on a 3-yard run. He finished the game 12 of 25 with a season-high 203 passing yards while also rushing for 82 yards on 19 carries. Meanwhile, running back Mike McCluzakak of Wayland, Michigan, ran the ball for just 4 yards under buck, 96 yards on 17 carries. Trine is now 4-0 overall, and they're ranked 15th in the American Football Coaches Poll and 16th by Division3Football.com. They're a talented squad. I know I was really impressed with Trine last year. Seem to have great athletes, but Hope, like I said, really gave them a scare. So I'm really excited for this game. Should be some great hard-nosed football. Yeah,
Hope defense, pretty good defense this year going against a pretty powerful offense. And I am equally excited to see which of the opposable forces is able to win out. Of course, we're going to root for the Brits, but we're going to call it down the middle, kind of as we typically do. Well, we're going to take a quick timeout, but before we do, I want to let everybody know the excitement of homecoming continues after today's game. We invite you to head downtown for Walk the Beat. Also, the Albion College Concert Choir, Britain's Singers, Symphony Orchestra, and Jazz Ensemble come together for an 8 p.m. performance at Goodridge Chapel. These events are free, and the public is invited to attend. We're going to take a quick timeout, and then we'll come back with more pregame here on the Britain's Football Network.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Back out at Sprinkle Sprandall Stadium here on the campus of Albion College, Jim Bellamy and John Bolello pleased to be giving you pregame action. Homecoming Saturday as Albion takes on Hope, and the Flying Dutchmen come to visit and look to spoil homecoming festivities, but the Britons and their undefeated season and their high-powered offense do not want to give them the satisfaction, John, of stealing a victory here at Albion today.
No, I think the team, they've had a sour taste in their mouth the last 2 years, especially with some close games with Hope. And I think, again, with such a high-powered offense they have, such a great two-way threat with Kyle Thomas, I think they're looking to really make this homecoming game special. And I think they can do that. I mean, we'll talk about the keys to the game later, but they got a good squad with them. They just got to execute, produce, cut down those turnovers, and looking forward to a good game.
It's an excellent conference season so far. A lot of good teams in the MIAA, as you see up on the screen. We have 3 undefeated teams, Albion, Kalamazoo, and Trine, all 4-0, 1-0 in the conference. Olivet comes in at 3-1. They've also won their conference game. And then you have 4 squads at 0-1 so far. Adrian, Hope, Alma, and Finlandia. Adrian and Hope, as you can see, are 2-2 in the season. Alma 1-3, hungry for that second victory in the first conference win. And Finlandia 0-4, 0-1 in the conference. Let's take a look at the schedule for today. John, what kind of stands out at you?
Well, obviously today we have homecoming. Hope is at Albion, of course. Then we have Alma traveling to Trine.
That's going to be a good one.
That's another tight, great game. We'll see if Trine can bounce back. They're nationally ranked, really talented, but Alma is capable of giving them a scare just like they gave Albion a scare last week. Then we have Kalamazoo traveling to Finlandia, so we'll see if Kalamazoo can remain undefeated, while Finlandia see if they can pick up their first win. And then we have Olivet traveling to Adrian today at 4 o'clock.
And that 4 o'clock kickoff, that's going to be another fun matchup as well. So the 3 1 o'clock kickoffs, we'll try to go to MIAA.org and get you score updates on the other 2 games to go along with the Hope Albion game that you are watching today. Let's put the Special Teams Player of the Week graphic up on the screen. As you can see right there, Andrew Fabry, the senior kicker from Grosse Pointe, 3 for 3 on field goals last week and 4 and 4 on extra points in that thrilling 2 overtime victory. And we're going to send it down to the field right now for the British 8th. Excellent job of the national anthem. And as the members who are doing a cappella from the British 8th take their place back in the line, we're getting ready to send it down to one of the best bands in the land, the British 8th. Let's send it down to them and get some pregame music and festivities. Get that blood pumping.
The British 8th leaves you this afternoon with an uplifting and heroic anthem celebrating the legacy of Britain football. Discovered in the Albion College archives and dating back to the turn of the 20th century. Arranged by T.J. Wolfgram, here is On to Victory. For today's game, the referee Dave Van Zerksen, the umpire Michael Hammond, the head linesman Lynn Van Sickle, the line judge Chris Adams, the side judge Timothy Collett, the field judge Timothy Todd, and the back judge John Mowat.
Flying Dutchmen take the field, and we're getting ready for the Britons, John. And, you know, the band always forms that line that the players run through. And for homecoming Saturday, even though the weather's a little dreary out, there's going to be a lot of energy in the stands as their undefeated Britons get ready to take the field. And, again, we're talking about a 4-0 squad against a 2-2 squad. And the Britons, in Coach Rundle's final season as head coach, are looking like the Britons, kind of, a little closer to the first year that Jim and I were doing these football games where the offense is able to put up big points. The defense gets the turnovers and the stops when they need to. They're kind of a bend but don't break defense, and there's a lot of good momentum. I don't want to say too much. Again, I'm one of those believers in jinxes and things like that, but I don't want to say too much. But so far this season has been a really balanced and strong Britons football squad.
Yeah, I think watching these games, you see, parts of each side of the ball performing well, and when it all comes together like it did for parts of games, recently, it's electric to watch. Even when it comes down to punting and kicking, you see these great plays being made, but can they piece it together? Can they keep the turnovers limited? And I know I say this as a sports fan, I always feel like my team gets penalized more, but I don't know if that's how you feel here. But if we cut down those penalties too, I know we've had some interesting calls in the years I've been working here, but they don't want to give this game up for sure.
It's gonna be an excellent. I think it's gonna, even though it's overcast and there's the threat of bad weather later, as Jeff mentioned before. I think it's a great fall afternoon. The lights are on already, so you get a 1 o'clock kickoff, but you get the lights on because of the overcast skies, and so you get that little added element. I don't think that's really going to impact the players' ability to, the line of sight and being able to field the ball, especially on kicks and punts and things like that. But it's just an extra added dimension to the game. So as you can see on the field, we're getting ready for the coin toss as we're about 2.5 minutes from kickoff. And we want to let everybody know that you can send us a message wherever you're watching around the country or around the world, webcast@albion.edu, and drop us a line. Let us know if you're a Brit. Let us know when you graduated. If you played a sport, what sport did you play? You can see the official saying Albion won the toss and deferred. So the Flying Dutchman will receive the ball, and they will be going left to right on your video device. So again, we appreciate you watching wherever you're watching around the country, around the world. Please send us a message at webcast@albion.edu. And I have to check Ken and see if our friend little Jimmy Thunderbird is watching down in Florida. I promised that I would butcher his name at least once. Well, before we get ready to give you keys to the game, I want to let folks know for the 4th straight year, Albion will proudly host the Big Read in October. The Big Read is a project that aims to bring communities together through a shared reading experience. This year, Albion will be reading X, the novel, which tells the story of Malcolm X's childhood and young adulthood. See albionbigread.org for more information. The Britons take the field, and they're around the 25-yard line. John, I think it's safe to say that those young men are pretty pumped up about today's contest.
Oh yeah, I saw them earlier when we, our alumni game, we got rained out a little bit, so we were waiting in the Dow watching them, and they looked very psyched, very ready to go. Great atmosphere, and you can see everyone's clapping their hands, jumping up and down. I've also been seeing them killing it in the weight room recently. I think they really want to, set the tone here today.
Well, let's do one key point for the Britons on offense and one on defense. John, first for the offense, what's their key to victory today?
I've mentioned this before. I really think the key to victory is limit those turnovers. I know that you said they had 3 against Alma, correct, and that made it a tighter game than I think it should have been. I think if they can, protect the ball, not force a lot of passes, I think they'll be good there. Defense-wise, that's an interesting one because I know they're strong defense. I'd say their quarterback, Mason Applehope's quarterback, is another two-way threat player. Like I said, he had a season high 203 yards and 82 yards in the ground against Trine, a very talented Trine team. So I guess if you can, push him to either one facet of his game, I think they'll be all right. Maybe put a spy on him, see what they can do there.
Good idea. And the team definitely is almost a 2-to-1 rush to pass ratio as this kickoff goes out of bounds around the 15, and that'll be the opening kickoff, no time off the clock, and it'll be a penalty against the Britons for that kickoff. Not the way you want to start today's contest. So that'll be A penalty enforced all the way to the 35, so decent starting field position for the Flying Dutchman. The Dutchmen come in 2-0 on road games, John. They average 35 points a game. They're getting about 400 yards total offense, only about 147 through the air, about 250 on the ground. And as far as third down conversions, they're at about 46%. So pretty good on third down as well. Opening handoff goes for 2 yards up the gut. And that's a decent start for the Britons defense right there. That was a run by Mike McClusiak. And McClusiak, the 5'9 senior out of Wayland, Michigan, gets them about 2 on first down. It'll mark the ball at the 37. And we have our first temporary stoppage as the I guess that's not really a wardrobe malfunction, right, Ken? That's more of an equipment malfunction as they can't get the number 2 on there. The count would be furious right now from Sesame Street.
I've never seen that before.
As we are now, everybody knows after 1 comes 2, and yet that newfangled equipment over there just will not give the number 2. We're being put to the test early for our ability to cover time right here.
Yeah, this is very funny and very strange for us, but I don't know what, this may top, I believe it was last year when the opposing team, I forget who it was, but they had a delay of game on the opening kickoff. So, a lot of weird stuff happening in Albion.
Yeah, I think this weird stuff follows me around, to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of the anomalies in sports, and now I can check this off my broadcasting bucket list that we had a down marker that would not switch to the number 2. If I said it out loud, Ken, you'd never believe me, and yet there it is, right on YouTube for the whole world to see. So, hey, let's take a moment real quick once again to let everybody know wherever you're watching. I mean, this is homecoming week, so it is the best time possible to reconnect with Albion College. And if you are a family member, a fan or a friend of the Flying Dutchman from Hope, send us a note. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know where you're watching. It's webcast@albion.edu. And we'll go to the email real quick and see if anybody has checked in with us yet. But we certainly welcome everybody to send us a message, whether you're rooting for the Brits, you're rooting for the Flying Dutchman. We'll be happy to say hi to you on the air when we get an opportunity. So no messages yet as we get the second down set. Option going right to keeper for Opel, and Opel has a lot of ground in front of him. That fake got the defender moved away from the lane. He was able to cut back and head up field, and now he's at the 45-yard line of Albion. A huge gain on 2nd and 8 right there, and it moves the chains actually to the 46.
Yeah, that's that threat I'm talking about, and no one seemed to really step up there early on. That's why I think we need to put a spy on him.
Good stop by the defensive front for the Britons as they hold him to virtually no gain right there. Maybe, no gain. So it's 2nd and 10 from the 46 as we're at about 14 minutes to play here in the first quarter. First possession of the game, of course, still scoreless. The opening kickoff went out of bounds, and the Dutchmen took possession at the 35-yard line, so they've done a good job so far. Blitz coming off the far side. That pass sails out of bounds. The receiver cut in, and the pass went out. That one was going for Amari Hardy, the 5'10 sophomore out of Muskegon. He cut in on that one at the end. John broke his pattern in, and the quarterback Opel threw out. So 3rd down and 10. 13:47 to play here in the first quarter. Opportunity for the Britons defense to make a stop and stop this drive right in its tracks. Pressure coming from the middle. Pass over the middle. That is caught. Good catch on the run right there. I believe that was Christian Boss, number 6. Watch the protection. Britons brought pressure. As that one is caught at about the 24-yard line, and it moves the chains for a first down. That's a big 3rd down, John.
Yeah, great conversion. You said they're 46%, correct?
Yeah, 46% on 3rd down. So that's an area for the Britons. They're going to have to get them off the field if they have 3rd down. Back to pass again. A little contact down there around the 15-yard line, but no call. Robinson in coverage right there, looking for Caccini. Cooper Caccini. And that's the second time now that a player, John, has broken their route on the right side for the Flying Dutchman. They've broken their route and kind of cut in on a slant, and the pass has gone out. You wonder if Opel continues to do that, if the defense, maybe a high safety, is going to sense that and be able to step into that passing lane and pick one off. So it's 2nd and 10, 13:20 to play, opening drive. Handoff going left, trips over his own man right there. And that's McClusiak again. McClusiak gets tangled up in the feet of the left guard and goes down for a loss of 1, maybe 2. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 12 with 13 minutes to play in quarter number 1. Homecoming Saturday here at Sprandl Stadium and Schmidt-Fraser Field here in the campus of Albion College. Ken, I got that all right today. 3rd and 12 as the crowd starts to make some noise. A lot of people here on the home side. Back to pass, good protection, steps up in the pocket, but he's sacked. Big stop right there by the Britons defense, and that's Quentin Jackson, number 35. John, you can see him coming in from the outside.
Yeah, it's great 4-man rush there. Kind of broke inside and just wrapped him up in the backfield. It's a great play, good pressure.
12:20 to play here in the opening quarter, 4th and 16. And I think they're going to go for it here, and I think this is actually a good call. John, they're at the 30-yard line, need to get all the way to about the 14 for a first down. You're too far to kick, you're too close to punt, so you're kind of in that gray area where you really don't have much to lose by not getting a first down.
All right, definitely in no man's land, and
wide open, touchdown. Britons go for it. I'm sorry, the Flying Dutchmen go for it, and they get it. That's a pass to Corey Durr over the middle. And a huge touchdown. Britons defense right there. Let him pretty much go by. If we can get a replay of that, I'm curious to see if the corner maybe passed him off or a linebacker passed him off. But nobody picked him up as he streaked right down the middle. And Durr was able to pull that one in for 6. Extra point is up. Extra point is good. And with 11:54 to play in the first quarter, the Flying Dutchmen strike first. It's 7-0, and the Britons look to get the ball for their first possession. So, John, that was a couple of third downs that the Flying Dutchmen were able to convert, and they didn't look very scared at the crowd noise or the situation on either of those third downs.
No, not long third downs. That last one was 4th and 16.
Yeah, fourth down, true.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Yeah, that could be a killer today. I know, like, those kind of situations, they'll get into your head as a defender. So we'll see if they can crack down on that. Yeah, I'd love to see that replay. I want to see how he got so open, but.
So again, they just streaked right down the middle. Good protection. The Britons brought 4, maybe 5, but they dropped at least 6 into coverage right there. But Durr was able to streak right down the middle, and he was wide open. So a breakdown in coverage leads to an easy pitch and catch for 6, and the extra point tacked on makes it 7-0. Flying Dutchman as they get ready to kick off from their 35. And the Britons looking to respond now here on this homecoming Saturday. Short kick to about the 14-yard line. Breaks it off to his left. A lot of room down there. Returns to the 33-yard line and out of bounds. Excellent return by Marlon Martin, number 4. Good blocking up front. As you can see, was able to cut it to the outside. Almost a hold right there, but a good no call by the official. Good downfield blocking and a good job of getting out of bounds. Save your body.
Smart play, smart play.
That's actually Isaiah Gibson, I believe, not Marlon Martin. My apologies. So Kyle Thomas, the sophomore, comes out, and he's flanked to his left by Doug Freeman. That running back, 11:46 to play in quarter number 1. The Britons now trail 7-0. Handoff up the middle. Bounces to the right. Pushed by the offensive line right there. They got probably about 3 extra yards off that push. That was Lige McKinney who comes in at the end. Watch this, John, as McKinney comes. You see him to the right. He gets stood up. Watch the legs continue to drive, and there's Lige McKinney giving him about 3 extra yards on the push as he gets it out to about the 45. Thomas back to pass. That pass is complete, and that's Kobe Canfield, number 15, on the Britain side with the catch, and that gets them into enemy territory. The Britons run a hurry-up offense, so I would have to be an auctioneer to get the entire offensive starters out. We'll just kind of call them as they happen right here, but they have twins to the far side, single receiver to the left. And again, Freeman in the backfield for Thomas. Thomas takes the snap. Quick pass out. That is complete. I believe, is that Blanzy? I believe that's Brian Blanzy on the catch right there. Blanzy's become one of his favorite targets, but again, Thomas is a very confident quarterback, John. Almost basically anybody who's open is his favorite receiver.
Right.
Second down
and 6, 10:35 to play. Britain's on the move at the 45-yard line of Hope. Hands off, breaks it left, a lot of room. Good open field tackle right there by Luke Beckhusen. If he didn't make that, Freeman might still be going. Good blocking here, good seal. Gave him the outside, watch the shoe top tackle. If he doesn't make that, he's still running. First down off the 8-yard gain as we get down to about 10-10 to play quarter number 1. 7-0 Hope, but the Britons on the move. Thomas gets the snap, hands off, up the middle. Short gain to about the 35 by Freeman. And to show the balance for the Britons on offense, last week Markel McCoy led the team with 190 yards rushing. So you think you know who the primary threat is going to be on the ground, and then every week it seems like it's a different running back, John.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking through the stats before the game, and Doug Freeman comes into the game with 370 yards. Meanwhile, Markel McCoy comes in with 368. So you really have two great, talented backs who are averaging, with this great offensive line, over 7 yards per carry.
Freeman stood up right there for a loss of 2, and that'll make it 3rd and 10 with 9:28 to play as Britt's looking to pick up there. Another first down as Surzo comes in. Thomas scrambles. He's going to have to make a few moves to get a first down here, and he is stopped well short. Give him about a gain of 2. That'll bring up a 4th and 8. And I think the Britons might be in a similar position that the Flying Dutchmen were in, that now they're a little too far out, so they're going to elect to punt. So that'll bring out Sam Blanzy to punt. But again, remember, folks, Sam Blanzy is also a backup quarterback. So if Hope isn't paying attention, it is entirely possible that the option is there for a fake. I don't know that they're going to do that yet, but keep your eyes peeled. Blanzy will try to drop this one inside the 10, but I think this one is going to hit the end zone. Yep. A little too much oomph on that one, puts it about 2 yards into the end zone. And that'll be a touchback. That'll give Hope the ball back as they lead 7-0. I want to remind you again, if you're watching this game and you want to shoot us a message, we'd love to hear from you. Webcast at albion.edu. And if you want to give a shout out, if you are a family member of one of the players, again, or if you are a graduate, it's homecoming Saturday, so it's an excellent time to reconnect with Albion College. We'd love to hear from you. 8:25 to play in the first quarter. A good first drive by Hope, John, and now Hope looks to build on that, but the Britons defense can't afford to have any more breakdowns in the secondary like they did that led to the last touchdown.
No, they cannot. But they did do a good job last time limiting them on the run, but
and I think that Mason Oppel remembered how well the defensive front had done on those runs up the gut, and he kept that one on the RPO and was able to jet back out to his right and get a nice gain of 8 on the first play. Slates makes the tackle, and we're at 8 minutes to play in quarter number 1. 7-0 Hope, and they have their second possession of the game as the Britons punted with their first possession. Play action. Good pass right there out to the right, a swing pass, and that is caught by Chris Kelly, the H-back, senior out of Troy, Michigan.
Pass is complete to Chris Kelly.
H-back, kind of like the fullback, like a hybrid fullback tight end right there.
Great job by Great job by Levi Ladd coming in there for that tackle, helping out Rayshawn Robinson.
Here's Kelly, a big guy, 5'8", 237. Here's a pitch. They have this bottled up in the backfield. Yep. That's what happens when you cut off the lanes right there.
Great recognition of the option there.
So Oppel, in the gains that he's had, when he's been able to get to the outside, they've committed too far for the pitch, and they've given him the lane to cut in. Right there, the defense was able to swarm and cut off both lanes. So that's a great recognition by the defense and a good stop for a loss of 2. 2nd and 12 from the 30-yard line. Oppel back to pass, good protection, fires to the right side, and it is caught. And this one is out of bounds. That's Cooper Caccini right there. And Caccini gets it out to the 40-yard line. So they're about 3 yards short of the first down. They'll actually mark him at the 39, so that'll bring up a 3rd and 4. 7-0. Hope leads Albion here on Homecoming Saturday on the Britain's Football Network.
Against Hope, Caccini picked up 58 receiving yards, being Hope's top receiver that game. We'll see if he's a top dog this game as well.
Oppel, keeper, first down. Out to the 47-yard line. Johnny's a big guy. Mason Oppel's a big guy. When he gets angled forward and driving his legs, it's going to be tough for one player to bring him down without him getting at least an extra 1 or 2 on that one. So good recognition. He runs left end, gets past the sticks, and then doesn't take any unnecessary punishment. So the defense isn't really able to even get a lick on him.
You're right, 6'3", 231. That's a guy who can carry a lot of momentum.
Play action pass. This one is complete to the right side, going to number 6. That's Christian Boss. Boss with a decent gain of about 7 on the play. They'll get into enemy territory again at the 46-yard line.
Gain of 7 yards.
So with just under 5.5 to play in quarter number 1, Hope's second possession gets into enemy territory. And the Britons' defense right now, they need a stand. Hope's offense is moving the ball pretty well. Handoff up the middle. Stopped for maybe a yard. Good interior D right there. A lot of players on the tackle right there. The one I saw come up the pile was Nolan Rawlings, number 38, the senior. But you can't really give a quarter of a tackle, John. No. So it's either a whole or a half, but you credit a lot of guys with the stop right there as it's a 3rd and short. Now they'll get the play in from the sideline. Oppel tried a hard count right there. The defense did flinch a little, but didn't jump into the neutral zone. As it's a 3rd and short, Britons need a stop here. Pitch out, good stop. Got to stop him though, his play's not dead. There you go. I think that was Rayshawn who originally hit him in the legs, and he lost his helmet too. So you can see Rayshawn go low, stop, you think, oh, play's over. No, he wasn't down. So it's a good job by the Britons defense right there of getting the stop, and this time Flying Dutchman will punt. And one thing to keep an eye on, John, Vinny Paleoni, number 20, limps off the field for Hope. He was on that play in a blocking capacity, and he's favoring that left leg way back by the trainer's table. Free rush from the left side, bad kick. But it takes a friendly roll to about the 24-yard line, which is where the Britons will start their second possession. So that's a big stand, John, by the Britons on defense on that 3rd down.
Yeah, I think they're really starting to recognize these options, these screen plays. I think Hope needs to mix it up more if they want to continually get scores out of their possessions. But now let's see what the Brits can do here. I like how they balanced it last time with the passing and the running, but can they get out of their own side of the field?
Second possession for the Britons. They punted after their first one. Here's a handoff going left, cutting back towards the middle. This is Freeman again. Gets maybe a yard to the 25-yard line. Is worth about 3.5 to play. Quarter number 1. Still 7-0. Hope leads the Brits. As we'll pull up some stats here in just a moment as we get close to the end of quarter number 1. Thomas back to pass. Good dump off to Freeman's got to make a man miss. Good open field tackle right there. I believe that was 21 Chandler Brown, the sophomore from Woodstock, Georgia. Good stop right there in that open field tackle. Good sure tackle brings up a 3rd and 4 as the Britons need to move the chains here, give their defense a break. Thomas gonna run. He has some grass in front of him. First down and more. We have a penalty flag coming in way late, so that has to be a downfield block holding penalty against the Brits. But if that's a spot foul, that should still be a first down. That flag comes in really late though. So if that's a spot foul, that's still a first down for the Britons. As you can see, the so it's a first down Britons as we thought. And again, the line to gain was at about the 30. And as you can see, we're in enemy territory now. So first down was obvious, but it still sets the Britons back to about the 48-yard line. So a little bit of a backbreaker, but again, Kyle Thomas so explosive.
Incredibly athletic.
Good job escaping the rush. Good blocking downfield. The offensive line did its job. The receivers didn't get separation, but Thomas is able to make the play happen as a dual threat. Handoff up the middle. Freeman gets, well, bounces outside and maybe gets an extra 2 out of that one when he was stood up at the line of scrimmage. Give him about a gain of 3 to the 45. So to bring up a 2nd and 7. Again, the Britons' second possession, first one they punted. Thomas back to pass. Quick shot over the middle to the 40-yard line. That one is complete. Canfield makes the catch. And it brings up about a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. And again, that no-huddle offense by the Britons makes it tough to substitute on defense. Thomas drops back. Here comes the rush. He just lets him run right past. If he gets a downfield block, he can do some damage here. Wasn't able to set it up quite the way he had thought. He was calling out Darius Case, the sophomore, for that downfield block. Case is still kind of running his route because Thomas is so fast here. You see Case running out, and now he's calling him block. Sorry. I was trying, man. I'm still running my route. But a first down at the 31-yard line. They keep the drive alive. Second first down with the legs of Thomas. Run up the middle to about the 29 for a gain of 2. And again, I want to let you know to remind you to send us a message at webcast@albion.edu. Ken was pointing at his phone, so I know Ken's just excited that he has a really good data plan and he wanted to rub it in my face. Well, we'll say hi to a few folks who sent us a message here momentarily. Thomas play action pass. Good release, good catch. Tiptoed the line, stayed in bounds. How on earth did that happen, John Bilella?
I don't know, but great individual effort by Justin Thomas there to stay in bounds and run that perfect route with that perfectly thrown ball to the sideline.
Well, again, no huddle offense means that we'll... see, the official wanted me to read these. That's the timeout by the Hope Flying Dutchman. You watch this instant replay, John. Watch this tightrope action right here. Gets the ball. Thomas does at the sidelines and sidesteps 3 tacklers. Gets 5 extra yards at the end of it. That's grace under pressure right there, I think is what they call that. I want to say hi to Mike Wiebe, spending his Saturday afternoon with his Hope student, Jesse McAlpine, watching Hope for Albion on a big screen TV in rainy Berkeley. Wow. English is my first language. In rainy Berkeley, Michigan. I thank you for watching, Mike. I want to also say hello to Dylan DeJong's grandparents from Chapel Hill watching with his Milford grandparents and cheering on the Brits. Linda Todd, thank you. Happy homecoming to you, Linda. And also, we got a note here that says NMM. That must be something about soup. Soup is good food. Milton and Sherry Evan in Granite Quarry, North Carolina, looking for their Albion football player, Grant Evans, number 59. So I'll look for him too. And if I see him before you, I'll let you know. Thank you for watching from Granite Quarry, North Carolina. Also family Ray Massa, Farmington, Michigan. Marco. Pass complete to the left side, or right side, sorry. That one gets them in a goal-to-go situation for Marlon Martin. That's the first time we've called his name today, John. Keeps those legs moving, drives inside the 5, and gets a first and goal at the 2.
Great stop by Nick Holt there to stop him right before the breaking the line there.
So a goal-to-go situation as we're under 30 seconds in quarter number 1. Thomas is going to keep it himself. And 2 players collide into each other for the Hope Flying Dutchman, allowing Thomas to scramble to the left end for a touchdown. Britons 1 point away from drawing even, John.
Yeah, wow, great play. Way to make 2 Hope guys look pretty silly there.
See good pressure. You see a corner coming in.
Oh,
and a good block also, yep.
Is that Colby Canfield on that block there?
I think that was Canfield on the block, and that was a tremendous block. First, it looked like 2 Hope players collided and took each other out of the play. Extra point by Fabry is up. And good. And now as we draw towards the conclusion of quarter number 1, the Britain fans have a lot more to cheer about. When I look down and I see a sea of purple out there, John Bolello, there's a lot of people here today. This is a great thing to see. So homecoming for you as a student athlete, what is homecoming week like? You go through the grind of classes, and you practice, all the the exercise and all that kind of stuff that you have to do, the training, and then you finally get a week or a week and a half or whatever where you can kind of reconnect with family and friends, and it's just it has to be a good way to recharge the batteries, so to speak.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a little bit of a weird period. Like I said, we just finished up with our fall lacrosse season, so I kind of have a little bit of a break, but at the same time, we are going into midterms pretty quickly here, and then also we're going to get 2 days off with a nice fall break, so a lot of mix of
That you heard was a kickoff return out to about the 20-yard line.
Jacob Clark coming in there.
And that was Corey Durr, the man who caught the touchdown pass for Hope on the return right there, and he was dropped at the 20-yard line. That was some serious lumber being laid right there as Hope takes over for its 3rd possession with 12 seconds to play in the first quarter. So after the first quarter, we'll give you some end-of-quarter stats. John will pull those up, and then we'll kind of break down the first quarter and get you ready for second quarter action. But 1, maybe 2 more plays for the Britons defense. Hope runs left end for a small gain, maybe about 2 right there. And that'll bring an end to quarter number 1 as the Britons draw even on that last possession, and it's 7-7. And John, let's take a look at some first quarter stats, starting with Hope.
Yeah, for Hope, for some individual stats, Mason Apple looking good so far, 5 for 7, 72 yards, 1 touchdown. And one interesting stat is, so he's leading in rushing yards, which isn't a surprise, a two-way threat. He's got 29 yards from 4 attempts, but the other 2 running backs, they are negative, or at least I didn't get the last stat from that last play, but prior to that last play, Vinny Pellion was 2 attempts for -1 yards, while Mike McCluzakak was -2 yards. So he's really, Mason Apple has been their offense so far. I know he's had some wide receivers make some great plays on those 3rd downs, but yeah.
Let's take a look at if you can toggle over and get some Britain's stats. I know sometimes we have to refresh that page to tap that, but the Britons on offense, not too shabby themselves. They moved into enemy territory on both of those first quarter possessions, and the second possession they were able to punch that in the end zone. We'll get some Britain stats here momentarily, and the Britain's defense takes the field to start quarter number 2 with a 2nd and 8 from the 22-yard line, now heading right to left on your mobile device. Apple with the keeper, and he'll get a couple yards out to the 25, gain of 3. It'll bring up a 3rd and 5. And again, nearly 50% on third down conversion for the Flying Dutchman so far this season. And they did a really good job on that first possession. Second possession, the Britons defense might have given up, I think, a couple of first downs, but then they made the stand when they needed to. So here's an opportunity for the Britons defense to really swing the momentum in their favor and get a stop. Oppel sends a player in motion. Swing pass. Britons saw it, but did not stop it, as this one gets just enough for a first down. Send him in motion and then get that swing pass out. And that was Boss again coming out of the backfield. Wide receiver being sent in motion to the right. And they were unable to get the angle on him, and he got just enough for the first down. So the ball is marked at the 31. Oppel back in the pistol with the handoff. And this will get about 5, maybe 6 on first down. So a good run on first down by Kenya Houston. Freshman out of Chicago. You see the nice cutback right there. See Schaefer holding on to the shirt to try to stop him. Oh, I'm sorry, Slates. Donovan Slates, number 16 on the stop. So 13.5 to play in the first half, 7-7. The Flying Dutchman to the 2nd and 4 from the 37-yard line. Play action, back to pass. Good protection, wide open. Caught, good cutback. And a really good run after the catch. That's Christian Boss again. Boss runs an out route. Good protection up front by the offensive line. Gives him a clean pocket. Plenty of time to operate. And watch that cutback right there. And that cutback too. Both teams doing a good job making the defenders miss in the open field. So first down at the 39-yard line. The Flying Dutchman into enemy territory again. Handoff, stopped for a loss, big loss. Going to mark him down for a loss of 3 on that first down. That was Kenya Houston again. Had a good run last time, but this one, John, the defense really got the push and got the stop.
No, and like the stats have shown, Oppel's doing a great job with these options and these fakes, but the Brits, D-line and linebackers are really getting to the horses of hope.
And that's what you need. Again, it's a 2-to-1 ratio rushing to passing, and I know Oppel's a big part of that, but you have to give the Brits credit. Run defense has been stout. Going deep. Nobody has the angle on that one. Robinson actually had the inside track, so if anybody was going to catch that one, Rayshawn Robinson was going to. That one falls incomplete.
And real quick, I have some individual stats for the Britons here from the first half. Kyle Thomas was 6 for 6 for 47 yards, perfect. He also led the team in rushing with 44 yards off of 4 attempts, while Doug Freeman had 6 attempts for 19 yards. And spread it pretty evenly among his receivers, having 5 receivers at least catch 1 ball.
Too far. Had the receiver wide open again down the middle. That was Corey Durr who caught the first touchdown pass. And again, he had a fly route right up the middle. Must have put a nice move on the defender. I was watching the protection up front, but boy, he had separation again, at least 2 steps on the defender. Thankfully for the Brits, this pass sailed a little bit too far. Wind not really a factor today, so I think that one was just, the eyes maybe got a little big and you just put a little bit too much on that one. Set up a 4th down punt for Hope. Left-footed kicker, and this one really going nowhere. This is a play where you just have to get out of the way. And it does take a friendly bounce for the Flying Dutchman, and they'll mark it down at the 9-yard line. So wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but had a lot of spin on it, and when it bounced, it kept trickling down. And a good job by mark the ball at the 9-yard line. Again, sometimes it doesn't have to be the prettiest spiral in the world. It just has to go where it's supposed to go and bounce the way it's supposed to bounce, right?
The way that football is shaped, you get some really, really weird bounces out of that, and that's, great great luck by Hope there.
If you've ever seen Jim and I golf, you'd know firsthand that it doesn't it doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to go where it's supposed to go. Britain's possession, handoff to Freeman. Freeman goes up the middle, and obviously the Britons, John, have found something in the combination of the strength of their offensive line and maybe some susceptibility on the defensive front of Hope. They've run that play up the middle quite a bit today so far.
Yeah, they seem to love that handoff play, and I mean, if it keeps working, why change it? And with such great backs with Markel McCoy and Doug Freeman, why not?
Thomas rolls out and completes this one. This one caught by Colin Poor. Poor gets a first down. And again, Thomas, the lefty, rolling to his right. He has to throw kind of across his body. So that's a good job by the lefty right there to get that one. Penalty flag before the snap. We're going to have a false start against the Britons. This will back them up 5. And that'll be Chase Bouchard, the junior offensive lineman, on the false start right there. I think as an offensive lineman, the last thing you want is to have your name called at that moment in the game when it comes time to for a penalty.
Yeah, nothing worse than making a first down or going way down the field and having to walk the guys back.
So it brings up a 1st and 15 as we're at 10:55 and counting here in the first half. Game tied at 7. Another penalty flag. This might be a free play. They're taking the shot. This one's complete. It's a foot race. Britons are going to win it. Touchdown if it stands. We'll check the penalty flag. See if it's either going to be an illegal procedure or an offsides. So the illegal formation penalty wipes out a touchdown right there. That's a killer.
That's a shame. That was a great ball. No adjustment needed by Justin Thomas. He put on the burners. That's a rough one.
So instead of 13-7 Britons, it's now 1st and 20 back at the 11-yard line. That would have been an 84-yard touchdown completion on the slant pattern right there. That was a gorgeous pass. Great route, a lot of breakaway speed right there. Everything that could have been perfect was perfect except for the one thing that drew the flag. So the illegal formation wipes out a touchdown, and instead we have a 1st and 20. So we get a handoff. Cut to the left. Another penalty flag, as this one's probably coming back on a hold. As he gets it, Freeman gets it all the way out to the 40-yard line.
Showing some great strength there. Dragged a guy for a yard or two, but we do have a penalty.
This one, I believe, is going to be a hold. As every official's taking turns throwing the flag right now, John. You mentioned something about all the calls going against one team.
Yeah.
This will be a half the distance penalty, marked off from the 11. So that'll mark it back to the 6-yard line. They're running out of room back there, John.
Yeah, they're on their
back to the 6 and a 1st and 25, 26. We're at 10:30 and counting, and the Britons just keep hitting big plays, and they keep going backwards. So eventually they're going to hit one of these big plays, and there isn't going to be laundry on the field. Thomas scrambles to his left, keeps it, gets up to about the 10, and now I wait to see if there's another flag, and thankfully there isn't. Watch the pressure coming off the right side right there of the defense. Again, that's the dual threat of Kyle Thomas. Able to at least scramble out and get a few yards out of that as we still have 2nd and 20.
Great wrap-up job by defensive back Luke Husen by Hope.
Thomas clean pocket back to pass. He's going to put this one up. There's a lot of contact and no call. So the one time where the Britons want a flag to be thrown, watch underthrown ball to Marlon Martin here. Martin comes back for the ball. The defender does turn around for it. grabs a hold, pulls him down by the shirt, but both players have a chance at the ball, right?
That's right.
So to catch a ball with two hands, you need one hand to pull a jersey down, apparently. Sorry, that was a little snarky of me. 3rd and 20 with 9:44 to play in the first half. The Britons looking for a penalty, did not get it. But in all fairness, you can't be waiting for the laundry on the field. You need to execute.
Right.
And the Britons have hit a couple of big plays on this possession so far. Pressure coming. Thomas scrambling. Gets this one completed. That's a first down. Wow. Big pickup right there.
Darius Case, a nice catch by the sidelines, and great job by Kyle Thomas to really stick with that play. That's one thing I really like about him. When he doesn't see anything happening, he waits it out, and he's athletic enough to keep the play going.
Mm-hmm. And last year he would have just tried to run that.
Right.
So that's the experience having that extra year. There's a swing pass out to Justin Thomas for about a 7-yard gain out to the 40. Yeah, Kyle Thomas last year, John, would have just ran that one. This time he takes off but knows where the line of scrimmage is. And a good job by Case getting open just past the sticks and getting a big first down. It's a handoff to Surzo. Surzo keeps the legs driving. He's about a half a yard short of the first down. And one of the things that I always marvel at about MIAA officials is they do not measure. He knew right away he was a half a yard short. So here's a 3rd and 1. Quick swing pass out to the left. This one is complete. And this one's a nice first down gain by Colin Poore. So Colin Poore gets him into enemy territory. So despite all the penalties, despite an 84-yard touchdown pass that was nullified, the Britons are still driving. And we get an official stoppage right here. And I believe another timeout for the Hope Flying Dutchman. So that's 2 timeouts by Hope. The Britons have all 3 of theirs.
I'm just curious how much running Justin Thomas had to do on this drive alone so far.
Yeah, if you count the number of yards they probably ran on all the plays that were nullified, I think the Britons have already probably gained everything they needed to gain to score, maybe twice?
Yeah.
They scored once legit, and then it got wiped out, but then another one with some serious yardage marked off as well. I want to take a moment to thank Sarah Rundle, the class of 02. She's cheering for Grandpa, Coach Rundle, her grandkids, Tyler, Rachel, and Grant. And they're leaving to drive to Georgia soon to watch Travis, the 2002 class of 02, coach the University of the South football team. So, Sarah, thank you so much, and thank you for watching. And say hi to the family for us, please. Glenn Van Nord, Hope fan and alumni watching on a big screen TV from warm and sunny Southwest Florida, Marco Island. Look up Jimmy Thunderbird down there if you can and see if you can find him. He said he's on the beach somewhere down there. Hey, Ken said Jimmy Thunderbird is watching, so little Jimmy Thunderbird watching from sunny Florida. Thunderberg, I'm just kidding. Also watching the game at All-Star Sports Cards in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go Hope, Jeremiah Purnell, number 53. That's Eric Purnell watching from All-Star Sports Cards. Big pass downfield. A lot of battling. This one is caught. What a catch by Kobe Canfield. Had his helmet ripped off at the end of the play and everything.
Great jump ball effort by Kobe Canfield.
This one, I think, is going to go against the defense, John.
You'd hope so. You'd hope so with the helmet being taken off.
A lot of hand fighting going on downfield. I'm not counting any chickens before they hatch here, though. There we go. This one will be declined, and it'll be a first down. Huge gain for the Britons. Puts them into the red zone at the 16-yard line. 8:27 to play in the first half. They look to go up as the game's still knotted 7-7. Troy Rundle watching online from Phoenix, Arizona. Pound, purple, pound. Go Brits. He says, just a thought with this being the Albion webcast, you may not want to keep saying enemy territory when Hope crosses the 50. Home team shouldn't be the enemy. That's a fair point. It's habit. Sorry, Troy. Run up the middle for gain of about 6, maybe 7. It'll bring up a second and short. And that first down run, John has done a great job of getting them into second and mid, second and short almost every time.
Yeah, it set the tone for the current drive every time.
7:53 and counting in the first half. The Britons on the move. Game tied at 7, but they are primed to put up another touchdown. One already nullified by penalty. Thomas rolls, pass complete, short gain right there, as that one gets Darius Case again. Run out of bounds on the Hope sideline after a short gain, maybe a yard. Bring up about a 3rd and 4, maybe 3rd and 3 as we dip under 7.5. See the instant replay right there. Case wasn't going down on that tackle.
No, he was not.
The Hope player, as Case comes off in favor of an additional offensive lineman on the right side. The 74, Jordan Jones, the sophomore. Thomas back to pass, scrambles, now runs back to the end zone. That one's going to be intercepted. Bad pass right there by Thomas. Kind of threw a jump ball up to Kamani Dooley. And this is a case where trying to maybe do too much.
All right, no one open there. I think you just got to throw that ball away.
And the receiver, Justin Thomas, I think broke to the outside, and Kyle threw to the inside right there. So a break for the Flying Dutchman. They get the interception and keep the Britons out of the end zone this time. Again, they did score on an 84-yard slant pass, but that was called back due to penalty. One of, I think, 3 consecutive penalties on the Britons on that drive. But the ball comes out to the 20, and it's a first down for Hope. 7-7 with 7:02 to play in the first half. Jet sweep. Running right side. Penalty flag on the play, so this one's coming back. At least I think it's coming back. Penalty marked at about the 20. Can't see the flag. Maybe the 21-yard. No, actually it's marked at the 17. So if that's a spot foul from the 17, that'll make a second and very long for the Flying Dutchman. And the offense is walking backwards, so for one of the few times in my life, John, I think I'm right. So it was not a hold, it was a face mask. You can see the penalty right there on number 26, Kenya Houston, who's had a couple of really good runs in this game. Tries that outside block, gets the jersey in the right hand, gets that face mask. And the official was right on the spot to make the call, backs him up half the distance. That'll put them inside the 10. Actually, they'll mark that at the 10, so it's a 1st and 20 with 6:55 to play here in the first half. Designed draw. Well, he got almost everything back right there. The penalty yardage and more brings up a 2nd and 5. Gets all the way out to the 25. Defense overcommits. Everybody turns their back. Oppel takes 2 steps back and then just darts forward into open lawn. So good job of recognition by Mason Oppel, the junior quarterback. Quick drop and then full head of steam heading upfield for a gain of 15 right there. 2nd and 5. Handoff. Going right. Good tackle will be just short of the first down, maybe about a yard and a half shy. They'll mark him about 2 yards shy, actually, at the 28. So Kenny Houston, who had the face mask penalty, gets a little bit of redemption on a short carry right there, but not enough for a first down. It'll bring up a 3rd and 2. Just under 6 minutes to play here in the first half. At halftime, we will have the British 8th. John will give you some scores and stats, and then we'll get you ready for the second half as well. We'll give you a special video package as well at halftime. Play action pass, quick pass, first down, caught. Good job of driving the legs after the catch was Cooper Caccini right there.
Rayshawn Robinson makes the tackle.
Rayshawn Robinson on the stop. And again, the Flying Dutchmen only have 1 timeout left. Not that they're really worried about it yet. The offense has been pretty efficient today. Britain's defense needs a turnover here, John.
Absolutely.
So 1st and 10. Jet sweep again, going the opposite direction. Good cutback. Another penalty flag, and this flag hits one of the Britons in the back of the head right there. Hit Levi Ladd in the back. We'll see what the penalty is this time. This one's marking back as well as Logan Shadaya, the senior, the H-back. Again, 5'10", 233. It's a big young man, John.
Yeah, hell of a lot bigger than me. That's
doesn't really need to hold if low center of gravity, strong guy, strong legs. You figure it's all about technique, but if the defender puts a nice move on him, you just kind of have to grab whatever you can grab, and sometimes you get kind of under the shoulder pads. And if you twist a player, that's usually the burden of proof for the official. So the penalty will make it actual at 1st and 11. Good open field stop. Oh, wow. Beautiful tackle right there. Tackle made by Noah Folks. That can't be right. He's a kicker.
This is just what you were telling me before the game.
Yep. Good tackle, open field right there. The pass was complete to Christian Boss, kind of behind the line of scrimmage. And it was a loss of 2. Beautiful open field tackle by the Brits. 4.5 to play here in the first half. Hopple back. Oh, how did he catch it? Went right through Robinson's hands. And he's off to the races for a touchdown. Cooper Caccini right there. Rayshawn Robinson jumped the route, had it go right through his hands. Caccini stood in his spot and then raced down the sideline for a touchdown. See the replay here, John. Robinson jumps the route. Everybody overcommits.
Makes it
somehow stays in bounds.
Makes a perfect play on the ball. Just slips through his hands. That's a bit shocking to me. Rayshawn Robinson is a very talented member of the secondary. He's going to be kicking himself for that.
Bad snap. Good kick. And it's 14-7.
The extra point is good. The score 14.
So you look back at, say, the last 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, you see an 84-yard touchdown pass for the Britons that was nullified by a penalty. Then you see a would-be interception that was caught for a touchdown by the Hope Flying Dutchman. And now instead of 14-7 Albion, it's 14-7 Hope. Football's pretty crazy that way sometimes.
Yeah. There's nothing better than college football. The crazy swings in games, the calls, the not having the equipment work on the sideline. It's all.
Yeah, that one I can't say I've never seen it before now, but not the kind of thing that you think is going to happen.
No.
Well, folks, the 17th annual Turkey Trot, organized by Albion's Alpha Psi Delta sorority to support Autism Speaks, is scheduled for Sunday, October 21st at Victory Park. Race day registration for the 5K event is just $10. Again, that's the 17th annual Turkey Trot coming up on Sunday the 21st, so in 2 weeks. Kickoff for the Brits to get their next possession, marching up to the 15 to catch it, and good blocking, good cut out to the left. Excellent run back by Isaiah Gibson, the sophomore. Good starting field position for Albion with 4:09 to play here in the first half. Pretty exciting contest so far. Even though it's only 14-7, it certainly hasn't lacked for drama, John.
No, great big plays. Very, for good and for bad. Just, I don't know. We'll have to see how the Brits respond to that play. That would have taken you down a notch.
Pass complete. Thomas to Thomas right there, but that one was scooped off the turf. So a gain of 1 on that one to the 45, but he had to go to the turf and just dive forward to get what he could after the catch. So a gain of 1, 2nd and 9, as the Britons need to sustain the drive and need to put some points on the board here before half. Good protection, quick pass out. This one's caught. Driving the legs, getting close to the first down marker is Tyler Sykes. Or no, Blanzy. My apologies. So Brian Blanzy with the catch right there. Brings up a 3rd, and they'll call it a 3rd and 1 from the 47. Freeman up the middle. Runs over his own lineman right there. and they get the first down. All 3 timeouts for the Britons, but John, as you and I both know watching this team, they can score in about 4 or 5 seconds if they really hit a a big play. So, I mean, 3 minutes, they could probably get 3 possessions out of that if they tried.
I am not worried at all. The only thing I am worried about is, someone forcing the ball or not.
Overshooting Blanzy on the slant pattern right there, running the post pattern. Thomas has been pretty accurate on the deep ball. A little bit too much on that one, but Blanzy did have a step on the defender. Good safety help over the top might have influenced a little bit too much on that pass as Blanzy checks himself out. And a 2nd and 10 with 2:59 to play in the first half. And coming up at half, we'll give you stats, scores from around the league, and much more. Thomas overshoots his man right there. Going for Kobe Canfield down the right side, incomplete.
And maybe some miscommunication there.
Freeman checks out, and Zach Surzo checks in on the right hip of Kyle Thomas on a 3rd and 10. 4-man pressure. First down, what a catch. What a catch by Justin Thomas. That was a bullet, and that was way over his head right there.
Yeah, you really got to see the vertical there.
Kevin Hazen makes the tackle.
Watch this leap.
A first down.
Snagged that one out of the air. Great catch, first down. Thomas feeling the pressure, scrambling, got to throw it away. That one doesn't even get to the line of scrimmage, but he did have a receiver in the area. I think that's the only thing keeping the flag from hitting the turf, as Darius Case, 88, was in the vicinity of the ball. If he's in the tackle box and he throws it and it doesn't get to the line of scrimmage, you can call grounding if there isn't a player in the area. But Case was close enough that they won't throw a flag there, and no argument from the Hope sideline as well. Britain's marching into Hope territory with 2:28 to play, a 2nd and 10 here at the 32-yard line. Thomas gets the high snap to Thomas, first down. So Justin Thomas with the catch right there from Kyle Thomas. Gets him to the 21-yard line, just outside the red zone, with 2:18 and counting here in the first half. Britain's looking to respond. They trail 14-7. Handoff up the middle again. Making a man miss. Driving the legs all the way inside the 10 for another first down. Now the question is, if they score, how much time are they going to leave? Because the Britons do run a hurry-up offense.
Exactly. That's what I was going to ask you. Do you try and milk it a little bit and give Hope, only a minute left, or do you try to go for the touchdown now?
Well, as Jim always tells me when I ask that question, your offense is your offense is your offense. As Kyle Thomas gets down to the 1-yard line on a left-end scramble, was able to carry a defender a couple extra yards. And it's one of those things that if you know you can punch it in, punch it in. Even if you leave the other team 90 seconds, and they just punched it in. Touchdown, Albion Britons. No laundry on the field. And Freeman dives over the top, 4-6. Good blocking by the offensive line. Freeman goes airborne and gets across the goal line for the tying touchdown, the extra point. Wood knotted at 14 as Fabry comes out with exactly 90 seconds to play here in the first half. The kick is up. The kick is good. 14-14 with 1:30 to play here in the first half. Albion responds, and John, you asked how are they going to respond after that dropped interception that was caught and run in for a touchdown. That's the best possible way to respond.
Yeah, they're lucky too. They had a great return, so they started off with great field position and really didn't look back. No hiccups on the offense there. Kind of just drove down the field.
Albion has home events in women's soccer, football, and men's soccer next Saturday, October 13th. The action begins with an 11 a.m. kickoff as Albion tackles Olivet in an MIAA women's soccer match at Alumni Field. Then shift over to Sprinkle Stadium for the 1 o'clock football kickoff against Kalamazoo. Men's soccer completes the day with a 5 o'clock start against Hope. So that's next Saturday the 13th. We have your afternoon planned right here at Albion College. Kickoff going left to right is fielded at the 8-yard line. Got to get the stop here. A lot of speed coming off that corner. That was number 16, Corey Durr, who's really made an impact not only on offense but special teams as well today, John. Very fast player.
Ball is spotted at the 22-yard line.
Durr gets it out to the 22 again. Hope only has one timeout with which to play in a minute 24. But they have hit some big passes. So the defense is not really going to be able to key on just the run.
No, like as we've seen, there have been some overthrown balls, but there have been guys who have been, had a couple steps on the Albion secondary. So let's see if they can replicate that. Maybe a hook up for a large gain here. We'll see.
Oppel back in the pistol. Designed run. And they got to step up and tackle. They do after about a gain of 8. And that's exactly what you want if you're the Brits. If you're going to get a gain, get about 7-8 yards tops. Make the clock run again. Only one timeout for Hope as we're dipping down close to a minute. They now run a no-huddle hurry up. Oppel keeps. He'll get the first down, but the clock will only stop long enough for the chains to move. This one gets to the 35 for a gain of about 5, maybe 6. And the clock will wind as we're now under a minute to play. Britons with all 3 timeouts. Hope with 1. 14 apiece here near the end of the first half. Oppel gets the snap. 5-man pressure. Stepping up in the pocket. He's down. They're saying incomplete, but boy, that was close, John. He looked like he was in the grasp of the defender. You're watching at home. You be the judge right here. Good defensive pressure. Scrambles. That knee looked down before that ball came out. I think if there was instant replay in D3, that would be ruled a sack. Instead, it's a 2nd and 10, 38 seconds. So it did really about the next best thing other than making the clock run on the tackle. It just burned a whole lot of time, about 20 seconds really off the clock for one play. So now they're going to have to hit, if they have any shot whatsoever getting points in this possession, they're going to have to hit a big play really in one of the next 2 plays. Oppel back to pass. Now he has to put it up. There's a gain of a good scramble after the catch by the tight end right there. I believe that was 87 must be Veenstra. They get a timeout. They take their final timeout with 27 seconds to play. 3rd down and 5. I want to remind folks at home who are watching this contest today, please send us an email at webcast@albion.edu. And if you are a Britain student, current or former student, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what year you graduated. If you played a sport, what sport did you play? Maybe you're a former Athletic Hall of Fame inductee. Today is the day we celebrate the Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. We congratulate all the men and women honored today before the game. We also want to take a moment to congratulate someone who is near and dear to our hearts up here in the booth, Mike Van Houten. Faculty athletic representative since 1992, has also been a spotter for 35 years up here in the booth with Dr. Jeff Carrier. And we've, through the years that we've broadcast the Britons sports here on the Britain Sports Network, we've gotten to know a lot of the staff, not just Matt Aaron and Bobby Lee, but also a lot of folks kind of behind the scenes as well. Guys like Mike, guys like Jeff, and it's been a pleasure to get to know everybody and to work with everybody up here at Albion College. 31 seconds to play, a 3rd and 5. Design scramble. He'll have the first down. Oppel gets 6 on a 3rd and 5, and that could have been a chance right there, John, for the Brits to get that stop and the way their offense runs. That's a dropped pass on a swing pass right there, but to complete that thought real quick, the way the Britons offense runs, 20-some seconds, it really wouldn't take a whole lot of time. So Jim Funderburg sends us a picture of, was that seagulls out there? Jeez, oh Pete, rub it in, will you? Enjoy the weather down there, Mr. Funderburg. We do miss you up here, but we look forward to having you back soon. 2nd and 10 with under 20 seconds to play. Good pressure. Pass over the middle. It is caught. That'll be about the 34-yard line. But as soon as they reset the sticks, they'll have to clock it. So 10 seconds left. They maybe have time, John, to take one more shot.
Yep.
You have to think with the distance right here, not sure what the limit is or the range of their kicker, but you have to think that you're going, you have to go out of bounds if you're running a short pattern, because if you get tackled in bounds, the half's over. So 2nd and 10 seconds to play. No timeouts for Hope. They're in Britain's territory. Over the middle, caught. And with 5 seconds left, they will have a chance right here to clock it, but they'll have to hurry. That one's spiked with 3 seconds to go. And this will be about a 36, 37-yard field goal attempt. Evan Johnson, number 19, comes out for the Flying Dutchman.
Against Trine, he was 3 for 3, and this range is definitely in his wheelhouse.
So it is a 37-yard kick. The kick is up. They have a flag on the field. The kick was good. Looks like we might have an illegal shift. Nope. Offsides against the Brits, and that'll be the way the first half ends. So a 37-yard field goal by Evan Johnson gives you the halftime score of 17-14. We're going to take a quick timeout, and we'll get you some first half stats, some MIAA scores, and much more here on the Britain's Football Network.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
We're super thrilled and hope you're ready to take a chance on the British 8th. Brought to you by the same country that brought you self-assembled furniture, the Saab, Meatballs, and Nicholas Lindstrom. Get ready to rock out to the sounds of one of the greatest Swedish pop bands of the 70s, ABBA. We open today's show with 2 ABBA classics, but aren't they all brilliant? Mamma Mia and The Winner Takes It All. color guard, the 2018 British 8th Band, and all our alumni band members joining us once again for homecoming. A special welcome back to Susan Kuhn, celebrating her 50th class reunion. And of course, Tim Newstead, who is back for the 44th year in a row. Choreographed by our color guard instructor, the extremely talented Morgan Schulte. Here is Dancing Queen. To share our ABBA show with everyone here today. And now, will you all get on your feet for what is surely the greatest fight song in all the world, including Sweden. Fight on!
Homecoming halftime. The Hope Flying Dutchmen lead the Albion Britons 17-14 in what has been a very entertaining first half of football. Jim Bellamy taking you around the MIAA. Of course, your game here, 17-14. Hope leads Albion. Trine at home is leading Alma 31-21 near the end of the first half. And Kalamazoo is ahead of Finlandia on the road. Kazoo leads 22-7. Of course, the only other MIAA contest today is Olivetta Adrian. That is a 4 o'clock kickoff a little bit later this afternoon. It's just about 2:15 here in the East Coast and Upper Midwest. We're going to send it to a special video right now, and then when we come back, John Bilella will give you the first half stats, and we'll give you the keys to victory for the Britons here on the Britons Football Network.
We've reached halftime of the homecoming football game against Hope College. Sports Information Director Bobby Lee alongside Albion College President Maury Ditzler. And President Ditzler, it's been an active time in terms of alumni engagement. A couple weeks ago, 400 Albion alumni gathered at Comerica Park to watch a Tigers baseball game. And last weekend, a group of alumni gathered at the Grand Hotel in Mackinac.
You know, it's one of my favorite times on campus. The weather's gotten cool and the nights have gotten crisp and the leaves are beginning to change color. The students have found their way around campus. The first-year students know where they're going. They smiles are still on their faces. They haven't hit the final exam panic yet. It's one of the best times to be on campus. I think our graduates remember how much fun this time is on campus, and that's why they come to things like homecoming and the grand getaway, and they come out for the Tigers. It's a time of year to remember.
What are some of your favorite homecoming memories?
Well, you know, if I look back over 44 years of college homecomings, a lot of those memories are focused on football games. Some pretty good outcomes. I think my first homecoming at Albion, at least my first Hope game, was a great game that came down to maybe a blocked extra point or a made extra point or something at the very end of the game. Those certainly are part of the memories. The other thing, of course, is encountering people that you hadn't thought about for 10 years, and they come back for homecoming, and you remember what a magnificent student they were, or maybe you remember what a struggling student they were, and you discover that 10 years later there's been a great transformation. They've gone from nervous to confident. They've gone from confused to erudite. Seeing students come back is always great.
While students, obviously, alumni are coming back for homecoming today, we've mentioned the events off campus, the Tigers game and the grand getaway up at Mackinac Island. What are conversations with alumni like when you go off campus like that?
I haven't found anyone who is not excited about what's happening in the town of Albion, particularly when they hear how important it is to have a vital town. You know, we talk about the importance of students interacting with faculty. Students don't interact with faculty if faculty aren't around campus, and faculty are going to be around campus a lot more if they live close by. And so when people hear that rationale and they see what's going on in town, it's easy to be excited. I'm absolutely certain that our efforts to work with the community to revitalize, the Superior Street region and really all of town have gotten to a tipping point. 4 years ago when kids and stuff and the BOEM were all that it was really happening in terms of revitalization, you could imagine things slipping backwards, and maybe when we just had the BOEM and the hotel, things might slip backwards. Or maybe when it was just Sterling Books and Brew and the hotel and the BOEM and the kids and stuff, it might slip backwards. But so many things have happened that the future is bright for the town of Albion. And whether our graduates were here 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 30 years ago, they like the idea of a vital town of Albion.
Jim and John will return with second half action. You're watching Albion football on the Britain Sports Network.
It is halftime here at Sprinkle-Sprandel Stadium on the campus of Albion College. Jim Bellamy now joined again by my good friend John Bolello. And John, halftime stats kind of tell the tale, but boy, oh boy, what could have been in that first half for the Britons.
Yeah, exactly. For Hope, Mason Apple has had a solid start so far, completing 13 of 19 passes for 214 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously had that very long one to Cooper Caccini, which really helped him out. For rushing, obviously we've been seeing Apple on those options and those draws. He's leading the team with 67 yards. And second is also not a running back, it's Christian Boss, the wide receiver, with 11 yards. Kenyatta Houston is the only running back thus far with positive yardage for Hope College. Receiving-wise, Christian Boss leads the way with 7 receptions for 91 yards, while Cooper Caccini has 3 receptions for 83, again with that Very long touchdown off that Rayshawn Robinson miscue. Then for the Brits, Kyle Thomas, 16 for 21, 158 yards, but has that costly interception in the red zone. He also leads the team in rushing with 6 attempts for 55 yards. Doug Freeman has had a solid day thus far, 11 attempts for 46 yards. Could have more. I had a few penalties not been thrown on the ground there. Receiving, the Brits do have 5 receivers with 2 receptions or more, which is very impressive. They've really spread the ball around here. Nothing really too spectacular in defense, although Levi Ladd, I think he's been the most impressive so far with 3 solo tackles, 2 assisted tackles, and 2 of those tackles for loss.
So 17-14, your halftime score. Want to take a moment to say hi to some folks who are watching out there. Brian Campbell says, go hope from Otsego, Michigan. 2017, number 38, Brandon Campbell's father. So we appreciate you checking in, Brian, with us. And also want to say hi to George, saying hi to his nephew Jacob Clark from Auntie Carmen, watching from San Diego on YouTube. San Diego. Weather's probably, Kenny, a little nicer in San Diego than it is. I mean, it's a pretty nice day, don't get me wrong, but come on, it's San Diego we're talking about. With 3.5 to go before the start of the second half, we're going to take a quick timeout, and then we'll come back and give you some keys to victory here in the second half. You're watching Albion Britain's football on the Britain's Football Network.
We've reached halftime of the homecoming football game against
Kyle Thomas, 16 of 21, 158 yards, 1 interception. Your rushing leaders, faced 9 attempts, 67 yards.
We built this building as a catalyst for bringing ideas together. It brings people together. When you bring people together, you bring ideas together. Community residents have meetings here, and students have meetings here, and when they have meetings, they interact and they bump into each other. And so they integrate town and college ideas. The most difficult problems in the world are solved when you bring groups together that don't normally interact. Ideas together that normally don't, that aren't shared. And again, as long as our focus is on this as a place where ideas are integrated and people interact, it's going to be a place where the best thinking on campus occurs. And we can't predict in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years what are the big problems of our community, what are the big problems in our society. This will be a place where those big problems, those interesting problems are discussed. It's going to be an entity that continues to give Albion College this competitive advantage.
In the third quarter, Michigan State 19, Northwestern.
It's not my first time bartending, so.
It's a sausage party in here.
It's fine. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, because you're a sexy girl, Sam. Last thing,
Yeah.
is that the music, when Momo kicks it into high gear, is going to get a little bit loud in here. So your customers are going to have a hard time hearing you. So you may want to.
What?
Visit Albion this fall and discover why it is one of the nation's top-ranked liberal arts colleges. There is an open house scheduled for November 10. Visit albion.edu today to register for a fall open house. Jim Bellamy and John Bolello out at Sprinkle Sprandel Field and Sprinkle Sprandel Stadium, Schmidt-Fraser Field on the campus of Albion College. And John, let's talk about a couple of keys to victory in the second half for the Britons.
Yeah, well, I mentioned the first half turnovers for the offense, but I really think, obviously that interception was, not a great play, especially the timing and where we were in the field. But I do think that Kyle Thomas has the jitters out of him there. I think what's more important is, Albion, we have a great offense. We're very well balanced. but penalties will kill us. I think that's the only thing that can stop us from scoring at this point in the game. So if they can limit those penalties, we saw a bunch in a row. If they could do that, I think we could score pretty much every possession. And then the defensive end, I know I brought up early in the game, you have a very talented quarterback in Mason Oppel he can run, he can pass. But let's see if we can get some coverage sacks. I feel like our coverage is pretty good, but they had those breakaway plays where they have a couple steps on the guy, and even though they didn't connect for him every time, it is dangerous. I didn't know if that was maybe a safety not coming over, but I think if they can really get on those wideouts and create a coverage sack or two, it'll start to really rattle the Hope offense.
Isaiah Gibson up the left side. Finally knocked out of bounds around midfield. We'll see where they finally mark him out. Going to say about the 49-yard line. You watch this impressive return, a line drive kick to start the second half. Although we have a penalty marker down at the 32. So this is probably going to back up the Britons. So instead of the ball being at the 49, it'll be back at the 22 after the 10-yard walk-off. 14:53, so the second half just started, and already, John Bilello, we have another penalty against the Britons.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's key to the game. Got to limit those. And they've been returning beautifully and getting good field position, but it's not here.
Eliminating big plays is what those penalties are doing right there. So Kyle Thomas starts with the ball at the 22 here in the beginning of the second half. Handoff. Back to the right side. Good job of keeping the feet moving right there by Doug Freeman. Freeman turns a modest gain into a gain of about 5 or 6. They'll give him 5 out to the 27. This is his second and 4 officially on there. Kyle Thomas with Freeman to his left, hands off. Freeman runs right side and gets just enough for the first down out to the 33-yard line. That'll move the chains. And the drive continues for the Britons. John, I think the Britons need to score here on this first possession of the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. If they want to get momentum started here in the second half for them, absolutely. They need to at least obviously get a field goal.
Nice diving catch right there by Justin Thomas on the pass going towards the Hope sideline, the far side. Quick out gives them 8 on first down. It'll bring up 2nd and 2. As the Britons, of course, run that no-huddle, hurry-up offense. And again, the defense can't really substitute. Freeman gets the handoff. Well, that's a play-action pass, and that one was deflected at the last possible second by Kamani Dooley, number 5. If he doesn't get that hand out there, that's right in the bucket of Justin Thomas, and that's another long pass. This one would not have been called back by penalty, but good defense to get that hand in there and knock that one down. 3rd and short, 3rd and 2 with 13:42 to play here in the third quarter. Britons trail 17-14, but they have the ball and they're moving. That was close to a pass interference, but it was timed beautifully. Good stop by number 53. That's Jeremiah Purnell, the sophomore. Trying for Freeman on the out pass. Everybody did what they needed to do. That was a good placement on the pass, a good route, but just a good defensive play. Sometimes you just have to take your hat off to the defender. And that was just an excellent defensive play that stopped a first down. So the Britons are forced to punt. Only a minute 22 elapse off the clock. And Hope appears to be getting the ball back. Nearly blocked, beautiful punt. Fielded at the 14-yard line. I was going to say not much on the return, but they didn't wrap up on the tackle. Good run back by, I believe that's David Boss, number 10. See him run into his own player, and a stop also by Darius Case on special teams. But again, this is something that plagued them last year, John. They'd stick but not wrap. So they'd hit. But if you keep your legs moving and you can spin off of that initial hit, so if nobody's wrapping you up, then the players will hop up and they'll continue to run. And that was a case where Probably should have been stopped well back inside the 20. Instead, they'll get first down at about the 24-yard line. Here's a jet sweep going left, cutting back towards the middle with a good run by Amari Hardy. The sophomore gets about 6, maybe 7. Out to the 31-yard line. That'll bring up a 2nd and 3. Just starting the second half, Britain's first possession, minute 22, and then punt. So the Hope Flying Dutchmen with a 3-point lead and the ball, looking to continue their momentum. 17-14 your score. Fake jet sweep, fumble. I believe the Britons have this one, John Bolello. Yes. Miscommunication with the jet sweep and the halfback handoff right there. I believe you had at least 2, if not 3, Hope Flying Dutchmen collide and knock that ball out.
And is that Levi Ladd with the recovery there?
I believe.
He's having himself a game so far.
So a costly turnover for the Flying Dutchmen. They have the ball less than 1 minute. Had a first down, had the momentum, and then a gaff on the handoff right there. Ball hits the floor, and a good job by the D-line of the Britons to get the turnover. They're now poised to potentially tie or take the lead with the ball at the 31. Thomas airmails that one. He's going for Marlon Martin on the far right side on the Hope sideline right there. Overthrown, but not in a position where the defender trailing could have made a play on the ball either. So falls harmlessly incomplete and brings up a 2nd 10. Getting us the Britons' second possession of the second half after getting that turnover. Pressure coming up the middle. Thomas has to scramble. Wide open. Thomas to Thomas, first down, and no laundry on the field. Usually when a play takes that long to develop, there's either a hole by the offensive line or a lineman downfield, but the discipline of the offensive line, that says a lot for their discipline to not run downfield right there. So good scramble, good completion. Thomas throws it for his brother. That's just good defense right there. Try to get the number of the young man in coverage. That might have been, can't really see the number on that young man, I apologize. But excellent defense. Might be David Boss, number 10 in coverage down there, but a good stop by Hope, keeping that one out of the end zone. Second down. Ooh. Oh, nice move. Gets close to the first down. Colin Poore right there. Comes in at 5'8", and right there, John, I think he got down to about 3 feet tall right here.
Yeah, using that height to your advantage.
And somehow didn't get a knee down. Brings up a 3rd and 1. Just an excellent job, though, of getting a wider base so we could go low over the tackle or under the tackle. Slant pattern, incomplete off the fingertips of Martin. Are they going to try for 3 or are they going to try for 6? They're going to try for 3. Thomas would like to have that one back. He knows he had him on the slant pattern, the post pattern there. So the Britons looking to cash in, at least get some points off this chains of possession as Andrew Fabry comes out for what should be about a 27-yard field goal there. Ball marked at the 17. The kick is up, and the kick is good. We are tied at 17. That was a must, John. Getting that turnover that deep in Hope territory, you have to come away with some points there.
Yeah, exactly. And always feels good to yeah, it feels good to score, but it especially feels good to score off of a nice turnover like they had.
The excitement of homecoming continues after today's game. We invite you to head downtown for a Walk the Beat. Also, the Albion College Concert Choir, Britain Singers, Symphony Orchestra, and Jazz Ensemble come together for an 8 p.m. performance at Goodrich Chapel. The events are free and the public is invited to attend. So let's keep homecoming going after the game. And want to invite you to go to gobrits.com for all of your fall sports information. As we head into the month of October, we're getting closer to winter sports, but we still have a lot of football, a lot of other great fall sports left to play. 11:36 to play here in the third quarter, and the game is tied at 17. Fabry with a kickoff that goes out to about the 11-yard line. Excellent tackle, and that is once again Corey Durr, who caught a touchdown pass in the first half, has been the primary return guy for the Flying Dutchman, John.
Great tackle by Jacob Clark. That's another tackle he's really made out in open field on a kickoff return.
Yeah, special teams is critical. Again, the opening kickoff went out of bounds for the Britons, but since then Fabry's done a really good job of kicking it high, pitting them fairly deep, and the coverage team has certainly done its job. Hasn't really given up a whole lot in terms of big returns. They've been able to cut off the lanes. So this will start Oppel in the Flying Dutchman offense fairly deep in their territories. You get a jet sweep out to the right, gets them about 6, maybe 7.
The ball carrier.
Out to the 31.
Tackles by Derek.
Give them 6 on that one for a second 4.
Gain of 7 yards on the play.
So 11:11 to play here in the third quarter, 17-17 on the Britons Football Network. It is homecoming Saturday here in Albion, Michigan. Oppel calls signals, hands off, and talk about a guy getting low. And now he's off to the races. Rayshawn Robinson needs to cut him off to the sideline right there. But good blocking. Padelt finally runs him out of bounds, but not after a huge gain by the Flying Dutchman. That's a tough one right there, John.
Yeah, and again, these are not. I was not a running back there. They had to go to their wide receivers. The Brits see that they can stop their running backs, but their jet sweeps they're effective, then they're working.
Jet sweeps, screen passes, bubble screens, all that essentially just becomes an extension of the running game, and Hope has done a really good job of recognizing the opportunities. Here's the designed draw that's going nowhere. Gets about to the original line of scrimmage as a whole host of characters, including Mitchell Ardenson, make the stop. Big 91 comes off that pile along with 2 or 3 other players. It's one of those frustrating things, though, John, when you watch that play. You see the first guy get a hit, and then somebody spins out. You credit the offensive player. Oppel's a big guy, a tough guy to bring down, but you'd like to see that first guy wrap and hold right there. So instead of spinning out and getting extra yards, he stopped. Handoff goes pretty much nowhere. His knee was down. So that was Connor Mellon, the sophomore right there, who got about 3 on the play. Bring up a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. About 9.5 to play here in the third quarter. 17 apiece on the Britons Football Network, and the Britons defense needs to make a stop on 3rd down here. They did get a turnover early on here in the third quarter. Good pressure, pass complete, and the Hope Flying Dutchman offense continues to roll. Amari Hardy gets a nice pattern and finds himself wide open for a big first down gain to the 22-yard line. Just outside the red zone, and another big 3rd down conversion for the Flying Dutchman offense. Britain's defense looking for another turnover because they are close to field goal range right now. Another jet sweep coming. Good open field tackle. Right there, I believe that might have been Rawlings, number 38. See the jet sweep develop. Good blocking downfield. But you can see that tackle. Very well done by 38 Nolan Rawlings right there. Still got 5 on the play, but it could have been a lot worse. 2nd and 5. Another player in motion and another jet sweep. This is going to be a throwback. He's open, and that's 6. Philadelphia Eagles ran that in the Super Bowl to perfection. And this one was run to perfection as well, as the jet sweep has been a steady diet. As you can see, they knew it was happening too. Apple had to fight through the D line, but nobody went out and got him. And you understand, on defense, you don't think your quarterback is going to be a receiver on a gadget play like that, but that's why you only run it once in a blue moon. Low snap, kick up, and it is no good wide left. But the Hope Flying Dutchmen cash in with 6 points on the jet sweep and then receiver option pass back to Mason Apple for the touchdown. So at 8:07 to play here in the third quarter, it's 23-17. Flying Dutchmen lead the Britons of Albion. Visit Albion this fall and discover why it is one of the nation's top-ranked liberal arts colleges. There is an open house scheduled for November 10. Visit albion.edu today to register for a fall open house. John, let's talk about that last drive. That was a good answer by Hope, but man, third down conversions, the Britons defense can't let them keep getting those third downs.
Yeah, those third down conversions really, they'll eat at you, and then they're running jet sweeps most of the way down the field, and then just when you think, I recognize this, they pull out the Philadelphia Eagles playbook and make us look silly.
So the Britons now need to answer again as they trail 23-17. This is a very potent offense. So you have to think points are coming, but only 17 points at about the midway point of the third quarter. Little concerning. Return out to the 25 and close to the 30-yard line. That was Isaiah Gibson on the run back there. Kickoffs have tended to go to the right, so Gibson has been the primary return guy today, usually with Marlon Martin also back, but certainly no questioning if Marlon Martin gets the ball in open space, how dangerous he can be. So I'd have to think that's by design, kicking away from him and kicking to Gibson. Almost wonder if they don't maybe switch up.
Yeah, that's good.
One of these times, if they want to keep kicking to the right. Thomas, handoff, switch field. High tackle right there and grabbing the face mask and pulling back at the end of that tackle, but not called. Call that a loss of maybe a half yard. They'll just officially say no gain, so 2nd and 10. Just inside the 30-yard line. 7:35 and counting here in the third quarter. 23-17. Hope leads Albion. Thomas, handoff again. A little bit more room this time. And a first down. And a little more. Doug Freeman. Tough guy to bring down.
Yeah, he was giving Luke Beckhusen a little ride there at the end. Probably brought him a couple extra yards.
Leading with the shoulder. Doing it the way they teach you. Number 50, Dan Barrett. Lost his helmet. He came out and had Nick Brewer, number 64, check in for him. But a first down. Another handoff up the middle. Again, good room. Gain of 4 on the play to the 46-yard line as we're at 7 minutes to play here in quarter number 3. 23-17 Hope. They scored on their last possession after turning it over on the previous possession. So you have to tip your hat to Hope. They've done a really good job not only hanging in there, but responding to their adversity. Thomas was 2nd and 7. Handoff again. Going right, cutting back to the middle. Stood up very well by the defensive front. After a gain of about 3, gets them to midfield and brings up a 3rd and 3. They need to get to the 47 for the first down. It's a big third down here. Third down back, Zach Serzo checks in. Lines up behind Thomas right here, and then he moves over to his left. Play action, taking the shot for Blanzy. He's got it! Inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. That's a big play action pass completion right there. I think everybody was thinking run on the 3rd and short, John.
I definitely was. A very gutsy play to go deep there, but you have a nice size advantage with Blanzy going down the field. Great play. Again, Thomas has been throwing some beautiful balls today. That was just a great play.
Had a couple steps again. The tight end, sure-handed, gets the 1st and goal. Freeman gets the handoff. Tries to push the pile past to the 5, but he's stopped at about the 7-yard line. Maybe inside the 7 for a 2nd and goal. 5:30 and counting here, quarter number 3. Britain's on the move in Hope territory, looking to draw even. Hope was actually able to substitute on defense right there as the normally faster-paced no-huddle offense. John, now all of a sudden they're getting calls from the sidelines. Freeman at Thomas's right. Brings it back in. Throws an out pattern. Nearly intercepted right there. Going for Marlon Martin. That was Beck Hughes and number 2. Watch him jump the route at the end of this here. Comes kind of from out of your screen. And it almost went through his hands into Martin's hands. So incomplete pass brings up a 3rd and goal from the 7. You're not at the point yet where you're thinking you have to go for it if you don't score on this play. It's only 6 points. Field goal makes it 3. Not a big deal. But you do wonder what they're going to do if they get to a 4th down, especially where they are.
Yeah, definitely want to get something out of this, build some momentum. You definitely want a touchdown, but settling with a field goal at this time would...
They got a touchdown! They run the sweep to Colin Poore. Colin Poore ran a long way to get to the corner right there, but the blocking was just good enough to let him hit the pylon with the football. And the Britons draw even at 23. Watch the sweep. Everybody pulling. You see, you figure he'd run out of room at some point, but somehow that ball hits the pylon, and that breaks the plane, and that makes the referees happy. Extra point is up. Extra point is good. Britain's fans breathe a little sigh of relief, John Bolello. 24-23, the Britons retake the lead. This has been a fantastic ball game.
Yeah, and that 3rd down, that really got me, and I'm now much more excited for that game. I did not think they'd go for a deep ball on 3rd and 3. Now we just got to see, can Albion get a stop here? If they can get a stop here, that'll really start to build some momentum, but we'll see.
Again, a high-powered offense. Albion has usually scored in the 30s to the 50s every game. They're at 24 right now. But what they've really shown so far this season is the Britons have done what it takes to win. So if it's a game like the 2 overtime game last week, 37-34, where they, were at 31 at the end of regulation, and they had to score at the very end of the game just to get to 31. So they were at the exact same spot they're at now, 24, before that very last drive. They can win in a relatively low-scoring game by Albion standards. Kickoff, going to the right, good cutback. Good stop at about the 24-yard line. That was once again Durr on the return right there. And Chase Knopp knocks him out of bounds at about the 24, 25-yard line. It'll bring up a 1st and 10 for Hope with 4:48 to play in the the 3rd quarter. I want to remind folks the 17th annual Turkey Trot, organized by Albion's Alpha Psi Delta sorority to support Autism Speaks, is scheduled for Sunday, October 21st at Victory Park. Race day registration for the 5K event is just $10. So come out, have a good time in Victory Park a couple weeks from now, and support Autism Speaks with the 17th annual Turkey Trot. 1st and 10 for Oppel. Fake the jet sweep. Pressure coming up the middle. Clean pocket, and this one was almost intercepted by 2 different Albion players. You had McIntyre, number 10, and then also had Padel on the coverage right there. Dangerous pass, John. That was almost picked off.
Yeah, and you saw the safeties reacting to it. Luckily for Oppel, they reacted to it a little bit late, but we're there in time to prevent the catch.
Kyle Reason, watching from Charleston, Illinois, is a proud 18 Hope football alum. Says, awesome broadcast, guys. He studies at Eastern Illinois University right now. Thank you so much, Kyle, for watching. We appreciate it. Oppel with the keeper. Boy, he's a tough guy to bring down. And he got close to the 1st down. They're going to mark him at the 35, and that would be a yard short of the first down. No, but they're going to go ahead and call it a first down. They said the original. Oh, okay. I'm looking at the goalpost. I was thinking that was a 6 there at first. I got a little excited. Sorry about that. But again, the MIAA officials, they're so eagle-eyed that they know right away first down. So the goal to gain was the 35. They got there. 1st and 10 as we go under 4:15 to play. Jet sweep again. A lot of field. This is a big run coming up. And you talked about it, John, multiple times. That's Christian Boss, a wide receiver. The only players that are getting yardage on the ground are either the quarterback or the wide receivers. The traditional running back is not getting it done today, but they're still finding creative ways to get yardage on the ground. First down inside the 40 as the Britons jump off sides, but nobody snaps, so there's no neutral zone infraction. 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Got to get a stop here. Oppel just keeps those legs going. Good open field tackle right there, but that play should have gone nowhere. Daryl McIntyre with the stop after a gain of 9. Looked like a busted play at that point right there.
Yeah, I really thought David Akima was going to have him there in the backfield, but Oppel snuck away and did his thing.
Yep, and you have to take your hat off to him. Tough guys to bring down. There's a run up the middle. You only needed a yard, and you got 2. First down. Get them to about the 22-yard line, and that'll keep the chains moving as we go under 3 minutes to play here in quarter number 3, and we have an injured player on the ground, and that is number 8, Connor Mellon. And while we have an injury timeout, Kenny, let's take a quick timeout, and then we'll come back and give you a status on Connor Mellon. You're watching Britons football on Homecoming Saturday on the Britons Football Network.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
It's not my first time bartending, so.
It's a sausage party.
It's fine. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, because you're a sexy girl, Sam. Last thing, totally last thing.
Yeah.
Is that the music, when Momo kicks it into high gear, is going to get a little bit loud in here. So your customers are going to have a hard time hearing you. So you may want to.
What?
First down, Hope.
Back out at Albion College, Jim and John on a Saturday afternoon. Mellon gets up under his own power and walks off the field. There's a screen pass. The Britons have to stop, and they do. Excellent job by Rayshawn Robinson on the tackle right there. Christian Boss with the catch. And those screen passes, again, John, are kind of an extension of the run. This one, though, well defensed by the Britons.
Yeah, they are lucky, though. Rayshawn Robinson didn't quite wrap up there, but he got just enough to knock him to the ground.
And sometimes that's what you need if you're going to get the momentum going. 2nd and 9. Ball resting at the 21-yard line. Yard to gain the 12. And Hope on the move again in Britain's territory. Fake handoff. Rolls out to his right. He's going to throw back. Pressure! Down he goes! Mitchell Ardenson says, you're not going to spin out of this if I go airborne. And watch him right here, John. Spins out of the block, goes airborne on him. Not going to spin out of that one.
No,
I don't care how much you squat.
Can't spin out of that one and be tough to throw over him. 6'5", 235.
3rd and forever. Out of field goal range now. If they were not to gain another yard, it'd be a 51-yard try. Britons need a stop on 3rd down. Pass over the middle. Pass caught. He has the first down. Oh, my goodness. playing too soft in coverage right there over the middle. Great catch by Corey Durr. There might have been Christian Boss. Saw two players in the same vicinity. That's a crushing blow to a Britain's defense that just had a huge play, John.
Yeah, again, with those third downs, I don't know what the percentage is for this game, but man, it really, it cuts deep, especially if that was third and 20 plus.
Yeah. Jet sweep gets no gain. They are at the 10, and it's a goal-to-go situation. So as we're under a minute to play here in quarter number 3, the Britons are ahead 24-23 due to the missed extra point by Hope on the previous touchdown. But they are on the move with goal to go here on second down. Hope with all 3 timeouts. In the first half, they burned 2 of them early, but were still able to score on that last possession of the half with just the 1 timeout. Receiver in motion, fake the jet sweep, rolling to his left. Big stick inside the 5 right there. Britain player still down though on the far side. And if the official turn around, he could see it. There we go. I was gonna say he almost tripped over his feet walking backwards right there. See the pass complete. That's number 26, Kenny Houston. And then you have Daryl McIntyre on the stop, and I believe McIntyre is the player who's still down. Here you see athletic trainers from both squads checking them out.
My question is, Jim, if Hope does score a touchdown here, does Hope go for 2, or do you just stick with the extra point, just try to get the 7, and hope to make it up later?
It's a good question. The one that if Hope gets the ball into the end zone here, we were going to find the immediate answer to. I would say at this stage in the game, I think you have to go for 2 to make it a full 7-point difference, because I don't think there's any question that the Britons can move the ball. So I think you have to work under the assumption that they're going to score. And so you're going to need whatever points you can get. And I know people look at it as chasing points, and if you don't get it now, then you're going to have to basically be in a cycle where you have to go for 2 every time. But with 10 seconds to play here in the quarter, Oppel's going to be stopped short. That's 4th down. And now we have a little drama going into quarter number 4 as the Britons have a 1-point lead, but a 4th and goal inside the 1 for Hope. And that ball is just an eyelash away from the goal line. So the defense is going to need a big stand as we go to quarter number 4. We're going to take a quick break and come right back for the exciting conclusion. You're watching Britons football on the Britons Football Network. Jim and John on a Saturday afternoon. John, we have 15 minutes to play, and we have a tremendous football game here. 24-23, Albion leads Hope, but Hope has a 4th and goal inside the 1. Let's take a look at some quick stats real quick for both teams.
Yeah, real quick, Mason Oppel, 14 for 20, 229 yards. For rushing, again, Oppel and Boss, top dogs there, but we do finally have a running back cracking the top 3 with Connor Mellon, who we'll check on a bit. He's had 3 attempts for 34 yards. Christian Boss also, again, leads in receiving with 9 receptions, 115 yards. And then if we take a look at the Brits, Kyle Thomas, 20 for 31, also 229 yards. Doug Freeman, 16 attempts, 71 yards. Kyle Thomas, 6 attempts, 55 yards.
Oppel goes over the top for the touchdown on a 4th and goal.
Mason Oppel for the touchdown.
We have some confusion on the field. Not really sure what the confusion is. But as you can see on a 4th and goal, Oppel, I think you said 6'3", only needed an inch. So his body is 2 yards alone right there, so all he has to do is reach that thing across. So the Britons unable to make that stand, and you asked, John, and here it is. They are going for 2. They'll send 2 wide receivers to the near side. Albion takes their first time out. They're going to check the offensive alignment and give their team a little bit of a chance to recover after that timeout. So this is a pretty darn big play early in the fourth quarter. 2-point conversion, of course, makes it a full 7-point difference. They fail. They're only up 5. And the Britons could score, and then they could consider even going for 2, which would put them up 3. So you can see how all these 2-point possessions, how there's, they always talk about that little chart that you carry, when and what the point difference is, and what the result is if I get it and don't get it and all this and all that. All I know is both these teams can score pretty quick, and both teams are going to get the ball probably quite a bit in this fourth quarter. So while it may mean a lot right now, a few minutes from now it's probably going to be something entirely different. Looking around the conference real quick, of course, 29-24 right now, Hope leads. Trine leads at home against Alma 38-24, and Kalamazoo leads Finlandia 29-7. That game is at the half, and Olivet and Adrian kicks off at 4 p.m. So at the conclusion of this game, that game will just be getting started. Opel gets the snap, fakes the handoff, and that play's going nowhere. So good stop by the Britons defensive front, led by big number 16, Donovan Slates. You see the fake handoff. That one wouldn't have worked. Quarterback keeper didn't work either. Got half a tackle there also by Mitchell Arnson, a name we've called quite a bit today, John.
And going back to some more stats, Hope College is 7 for 11 on third down, 64%, so above their average. Albion actually doing a little bit better, 8 for 12, 67%. And then in terms of yardage, we have, just lost it there. Hope has 453 yards total compared to Albion's 373. Hope with 22 first downs, Albion with 21 first downs. So pretty even game here. Now we just got to see can the offense, obviously the offense can respond, but let's see what they can do.
I think really the question also is, can Hope's defense respond? Hope is a team that only gets about 400 yards a game coming in, about 250 through on the ground, about 150 in the air. So this is a team that they're already doing more on offense than they usually do. Now they're playing with the lead. It's a little bit different. Return out to the 25, out to about the 27. Good run back
to the 28-yard line
by the Britons and Isaiah Gibson. Again, Marlon Martin has not had a touch on kickoff so far. I want to remind everyone watching at home, send us an email at webcast@albion.edu. I wanted to let our friend Jim Funderburg know that he is appreciated and missed up here in the booth. We look forward to having you back in the booth for the next contest. But we are certainly enjoying this contest today and hope you are enjoying sunny Florida, and congratulations to you and your family on this weekend's wedding. We get an official conference out here. Something gets straightened out, and now we're getting ready to play some football. I'm just happy there isn't another flag on the field.
Yeah.
I'd do well not to see another one of those the rest of the game. First down, 27-yard line. Thomas fakes the handoff, takes the shot to Blanzy. This one's overthrown and intercepted. Picked off by number 11. That's Kyle Crum. And that's the one thing that the Britons absolutely could not have happen. Good protection. Overshot his target. And the deep safety doing his job as Blanzy comes off the field looking like he's a little banged up. So one play turnover gives the Flying Dutchman the ball back at their 40-yard line as they now lead by 5 with 14:38 to play here in the contest. Still a long time to play, Britons have used one of their timeouts they did prior to the 2-point conversion attempt. All 3 timeouts for Hope. Timeouts don't really matter when you're ahead, though. You're just trying to run time. Handoff up the middle. Short gain on first down. Good run by Kenya Houston, who's had the majority of the carries today for the running backs. But again, like you mentioned a couple times, John, their traditional running backs going up the gut just aren't getting anything. 2nd down and 6. And again, you'll see a much more deliberate Hope offense now, even than you did before. Not really running the no huddle unless it's a 2-minute. But now they're going to take as much time as they can, as that play clock's probably going to go below 10 every time. Screen pass. Good stop. Guess who? Rayshawn Robinson on the tackle. Amari Hardy with the catch right there, but he lost a yard, and that'll bring up 3rd and about 6. So 3rd down, seemingly the specialty of the Hope offense.
Yeah, this would be huge right here. Let's see. I'm just curious what Hope's going to call here. Go deep, go for an option, draw, jet sweep.
Probably a traditional pass. Bobbled the snap, clean pocket, 1st down catch. Good sit down route right there by Mike Miller, the junior. Nope, they're saying that was number 3, Cicchini.
Rayshawn Robinson on the stop. Spotted at the 44-yard line.
Yeah, Apple really with a rocket there, looking like Aaron Rodgers.
Excellent 3rd down conversion. And that's kind of been the story of the game so far for Coach Rundle's squad. Go back to that first touchdown, 3rd and 20-something.
Yeah.
Handoff. Nope, keeper. Apple runs far side, gets knocked out of bounds, but not before he gets about 5 on the carry. Gets them inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. 12:44 to play in the contest. 29-24. Hope leads Albion. It's homecoming Saturday. Albion comes into today's contest 4-0. Hope 2-2. And the conference season just getting started, so Albion 1-0. Hope 0-1, but a lot of football left to play as we get into October and November. Still a lot of people here. I don't think anybody is left on this side. Decent crowd on Hope's side as well. Play action pass over the middle. Good catch. Excellent catch by Boss. Laser to the 30-yard line. Got it on the fingertips right there. More than enough to move the chains for another 1st down. Britons do have a defensive turnover, but they matched that with an offensive turnover on the deep pass by Thomas on the previous possession. Now Hope looking to capitalize on that turnover, and they're marching into Britons territory. Handoff. Long sweep. That one took forever to develop. That's a fumble! In about an hour, we'll find out who has this one. This is going to change possession probably about 3 or 4 times. I believe a lineman fell on it for Hope, or maybe a halfback. That was Shadiah, I think, number 31. So a near catastrophe. As you'll recall, John, earlier in the game, Hope had a similar turnover where quarterback, halfback, and
just a
wide receiver running a jet
kinda
sweep all kind of ran into each other. This one more of a traditional fumble on a toss sweep, but they didn't make them pay. Good pressure, good tackle. Loss of 2 on the play, back to the 31.
All right, 3rd down.
3rd and 11 at the 31. The goal to gain is the 20-yard line here. 10 minutes, 45 seconds and counting. Plenty of time on the play clock. Albion faithful need to make some noise here. Nothing has really rattled this Hope offense on 3rd down, though. They've been very accurate on 3rd and long. Apple drops back. Lots of time, has to scramble. Running out of time. He's down! Huge loss on the play.
Great pursuit by Levi Ladd again.
Ladd gets him around the shoe tops right here, and you can see Apple, the dual threat quarterback for sure, has had a lot of success on the ground. Here's where Apple needs to get rid of the ball. For the Britons, though, they'll definitely take his decision to scramble and not throw it. It's a loss of about 13 on the play. 4th and 24 back at the 45-yard line. This, I believe, is a punting situation.
Yes.
Bad snap. Decent kick up in the air. Fair catch called. And taken care of by Rayshawn Robinson inside the 25. Inside the 15, sorry.
I really like the patience in the linebackers on that play, not to just go right at it, because we've seen in earlier plays Apple would take advantage of that, just run it up the middle. But, you know, Ladd and other backs showing some patience, waited, and then picked the perfect time to pursue him and really made him pay for it.
Well, Kyle Thomas got his mulligan as the last possession. He sailed one up the middle intended for Blanzy, and that one was intercepted, but no harm comes of it. And they start off with similar field position here. Hand off to Freeman up the middle. Freeman's going to get him about one. McCoy's going to carry this one.
Mason Decker makes the stop.
Might be McKell's one of his first carries of the game.
Yeah, I think that
Freeman
might be
has been
second,
the primary back.
or third of the game.
So McCoy gets 190 yards last week, and now he's the number 2 or number 3 running back. Every week's different. You game plan. Thomas back to pass. Gets it to Thomas. Got both feet down. Wow. Oh, my goodness. That would have been good in the pros.
Yeah.
Thomas to Thomas for a first down connection. Gain of 10 on the play and a first down. Out to the 26, 9 minutes and counting. 5-point deficit for the Britons. Handoff, cuts back right. Good stick. Tackle made by Nick Holt, number 23, the junior. Nice open field shot with the shoulder right there. Short gain. Again, you're seeing Markel McCoy in the backfield now. Thomas awaits the snap. Sidesteps a defender. That's magic right there. You think for sure he's just gonna get pasted.
That's very smooth.
Yeah. Almost fell back. Kept his footing somehow. Watch this move at the very end. You think he's gonna get crunched on his way out. Sidesteps the defender. And Kamani Dooley whiffs on the tackle. Still 3rd and short for the Britons. That's just enough for a first down. But we do have a flag on the play, and I believe this is coming back. We had the receiver blocking downfield, dive at the feet of the defender. So I think this one's coming back. It does get a first down, barring the penalty. So a first down becomes a 3rd and long after the 15-yard penalty. Now a 3rd and 25. The Britons heavily penalized in this game, I guess is the best way to put it. That one was a good call, though. Blocking before the ball got there. Thomas trying to make something happen here. He's going to cut it back. Barely got back to the original line of scrimmage, all that running.
Yeah, ran about 30 yards just for a couple, but
Thomas disgusted on that one. But those defenders are pretty fast, too. So the young man obviously has a lot of athletic ability. But when it's almost 1 on 11 at that point, usually you take the 11.
If you're not Michael Vick, I don't think you can get out of that.
When he had the 99 Madden rating especially.
Exactly. Yep, the Madden 04 infamous rating.
Blanzy with a booming punt. Brings some rain down. Fielded at about the 19. Did not wrap up on the tackle and allowed the returner to get all the way out to the 37-yard line, maybe the 38. Now they mark him at the 37. Decent starting field position after a monster punt by Blanzy. 6:41 and counting. Here in the fourth quarter, 29-24, Hope leads Albion. I want to remind you again, go to gobrits.com for all your fall sports information and send us an email at webcast@albion.edu. Let us know where you're watching, who you're rooting for. Love to say hi to you. One of our Albion faithful imploring the defense. Got to step it up. They do on first down. No gain on the play. That was handed off to Mike McClusiak, number 24. Met at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Albion again with 2 timeouts. A lot of football left to be played. I suspect each team is going to have at least one more possession. But the Britons have been kind of their own worst enemy here in this second half, John, with all the penalties.
Yeah, the penalties and the poor decision making by Kyle Thomas. They've shot themselves in the foot more than Hope has impeded them, I think.
Handoff. Good tackle. Crowd wanting a face mask right there. So that's one of the things I never really liked about that rule, is when you throw a stiff arm as an offensive player, it seems like and you can see it right there, there's no question he gets his hand in the face mask.
Right.
If a defender gets their hand in the face mask for a tackle, it's an automatic penalty for player safety. But when an offensive player throws a stiff arm and gets their hand in and pushes a face mask back, it's just a good stiff arm. I never understood the consistency of that rule.
No, you're absolutely right. It is inconsistent, and you see teams really get punished for it.
Hoppel, all the time in the world. Now running out of time, now has to throw it away. He was out of the tackle box, so no flag for intentional grounding, and he got it past the line of scrimmage. But he was certainly just getting rid of the ball. That's a big get for Albion right there, because number one, it's a 4th down. It's a 3rd down defensive stop. Now it's a 4th down, and the clock stops with the incompletion, John. So big hold by the Britons defense, and now Rayshawn Robinson needs a good return. If you'll recall, the last punt snap was low. If they'd brought more pressure, it's possible they would have blocked, and it looks like they're bringing the house on this one. Better snap, fast kick, and a better kick.
Yeah.
Rayshawn back inside his 20. Makes one man miss, gets up to the 25 and past the 25 to about the 28-yard line. They'll mark him almost at the 29, where the Britons will take over. 5:04 to play. So the decision to go for 2 has not haunted Hope at all. It's really been more, like we said earlier, the Britons and their self-inflicted wounds on the penalties, John.
Exactly.
So Kyle Thomas takes over at the 28-yard line. Nice 5-minute and 4-second drive to put the ball in the end zone to be just what the doctor ordered here. First down carry. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. That's Freeman. Give him maybe a yard.
Doug Freeman on the carry. Mason Decker makes
You still have to use the run, I think, to set up the pass.
Yeah, Albion definitely has to balance it. I think they're very good at it. They just got to make the right decisions, get the right blocking, and not hold.
Hand off to Freeman. Freeman up the middle. Freeman with a first down. Up to the 39, closer to the 40. He gets 9, or he needs 9, he gets 10, and it's a first down.
I would be curious to see if there's a yards after contact stat for Freeman.
Freeman has a lot.
He would be he'd be up in the rankings in D3, I think.
Freeman had his helmet ripped off right there, but okay. Jeremiah Purnell with the tackle right there. tackles a guy and rips his helmet off, but no face mask. It's all right. It's for 2nd and 6 with the clock moving at 4 minutes to play. Big rush coming. Thomas spins out, throws it, and airmails, and another interception. This one picked off by Kamani Dooley, number 5. Thomas trying for Justin Thomas, number 1, out down the middle, but that one again sails on him. And another turnover forced by Hope. And again, good starting field position for the Flying Dutchman. They'll have the ball at the 36-yard line on the far hash with a first down. Penalties and turnovers, John. This has been a really rough second half for the Britons. So Oppel takes over with a single back. Hand off. Britons are going to need one more big stop here. Still going, driving the legs. Timeout by the Britons. They have 2 remaining. They burn 1. Now they have 1 left. I think Albion is kind of selling out for a stop on this possession at this point. The high-powered Britons offense, something's just not clicking today.
Yeah,
there's penalties and it's turnovers, but they're out of sync today, John.
Maybe a little bit just trying to do too much. Just sometimes you got to throw the ball away. I know you want to make the most out of every play, but sometimes the right thing to do is, sometimes you got to take the sack, sometimes you got to throw it away. Sometimes, better safe than sorry, but.
And again, the penalty wiped out a huge touchdown pass earlier in the first half by the Brits. It could make this an entirely different conversation right now. I think the Britons would have been up 14 at that point, if I remember right. 7 or 14.
7 or 14.
Yeah. Could have completely swung the momentum of the game, but.
And the interception in the red zone.
Yeah. So that's 2 touchdowns wiped off the board right there. Britons need a stop here.
And what happens if Rayshon Robinson gets that pick on the far sideline?
Yeah. But that led directly to a touchdown.
Yeah,
so you get the final timeout by Coach Rundle out on the field talking to the line judge for that one. To bring up the 3rd and 3 with 3:33 to play. So if you're a numerologist right now, 3rd and 3 with 3:33. Not sure if 3 is a lucky number. I know it's a prime number, but that doesn't really help anybody.
3 minutes, 35 seconds.
There you go. 3:35. So that extra 2 seconds might not seem like a lot now, but you never know.
Never know.
2 seconds is just ask Hope at the end of the first half right there.
Yeah, that hurry up, yeah.
Yep, and they only had 1 timeout, but they were able to drive the field, make good use of clocking the ball on first downs, and they knew that with the moving the chains to get the first down that the clock stopped long enough to get everybody down and in position to stop the clock again. So, it can certainly be done. Kalamazoo leads Finlandia 49-7 going into the 4th quarter, trying all over Alma 52-24. And your score here 29-24. Hope leads Albion. This is going to be an option to the right, and it is not going to get the first down. The clock does wind as he stays in bounds, but that'll bring up a 4th down and a good stop by the Britons defense. Quentin Jackson among those in with the stop, and you're going to see a punt, I'm sure, on 4th down, but you're also probably going to see them run this play clock all the way down and call a timeout, which will put it at about 2 minutes and 50 seconds or so, which normally, as we've seen the Britons offense, 250 is enough time for them to score a couple times. But the way the game has progressed today, they've been kind of their own worst enemy, so they're going to need all 2 minutes and 50-ish seconds.
Yeah, they're absolutely capable. I have no doubt that, we've seen Kyle Thomas's crazy athleticism. We've seen good blocking. We've seen Freeman have a great game, but can they piece it together? Can they play clean? And can they just not turn over the ball?
Yep, and a lot of that also, though, has to do with the success of the defensive front for the Hope Flying Dutchman. They've done just enough to pressure the mobile Kyle Thomas, force him out of the pocket, and by forcing him out of the pocket, he's trying to still stay behind the line of scrimmage and make a play, but he sailed a few that have been intercepted. He threw the ill-advised pass into the end zone that was intercepted as well. And so the defense has to get some credit for that, for forcing him to make those errors. But there are throws that, as Kyle Thomas continues to progress, I don't think he's going to make those same mistakes. Today has been an uncharacteristically tough day for Kyle in what has been an otherwise really phenomenal season so far. And again, we've only played 4 games. This is coming to the tail end of game number 5. Still half the season left to go for the Britons football team. But this right here is his opportunity, like the last possession last week. Trailing by 7 with the ball at the end. Now potentially trailing by 5 with the ball at the end, and a chance to really make it work. Good kick to Robinson. Fair catch called at the 20.
Fair catch is taken by Rayshon Robinson.
So that's where the Britons will start. 80 yards from the lead. No timeouts. 2:42 to play. What do you look for, John, in this possession? This is probably the last possession the Britons are going to get on offense.
I'm not an offensive coordinator, but I don't know. I think you are right. I haven't given Hope enough credit. They are getting great pressure. I think their secondary is very solid. I think
they've been where they need to be. There's no doubt.
I think they've created some, coverage type sacks.
Freeman running and running and running for a gain of about 7 on first down. Gets them out past the 25 to the 26. And speaking of Thomas, we have an email from Tina Vetter. It says, "Go Thomas Brothers watching from Columbus. We're proud of you both. Go Brits. Love Aunt Tina and Andrea and Katie." First down and a lot more out near midfield is Freeman. Yards after contact, John, I think he has over 100 yards after contact. I'd be interested to see stat-wise what he has total. But let's use Tina's email as the inspiration to seal the deal today. Thomas runs, cuts back to the middle. He gets about 9 on first down. They'll give him 8 at the 46, 153 and counting. There's an eternity of football left. There's no panic or no rush for the Britons right here. 2nd and 2. Thomas gets the snap, drops back. He's got room to roll if he wants to roll to his right. Instead, he throws it. It's caught. Thomas to Thomas for a first down inside the 40 at the 39. Clock will stop until they move the chains, but still, 90 seconds to play. Lots of time. They can do it. Britons fans making some noise. Thomas gets the snap. Hands off. Big gain up the middle near another first down. As Markel McCoy. And again, clock is moving as they did not get a first down. Markel McCoy goes to Thomas's left. 2nd and 2. Thomas, he feels the pressure. Throws this one away. Said he was outside the tackle box, and I think that might have been a little generous of the official right there. I think he was inside the tackle box and threw that one away. But, hey, there's many penalties that the Britons have had called against them.
Third down.
Not that it excuses one if there was a penalty there, but karma has to be nice every once in a while. We'll buy karma a Christmas present. How's that? 3rd and 2. You can still run here and get a first down. You don't have to get it all. Thomas flushed out. Another interception, and that'll do it. Intercepted this time by Chandler Brown, number 21. Thomas had the room right here to run, John.
Yeah. Great pressure to force him to go out, but like I've mentioned, like last 2 drives, you just got to throw it away.
The intended target was number 15, Kobe Canfield. And that'll bring an end to the undefeated season for the Albion Britons, barring a miracle. 29-24, Hope leads. They should just need to kneel down 2 times and then shake hands and head to the showers. That's a tough way to lose a game right there. You had everything going your way. You were on the move. Things were looking good. And then the normal routine of roll out and take off. It's one time where you wish Kyle would have kept that ball and kept it running. Instead, Hope will improve to 3-2. The Britons will fall to 4-1, but more importantly, each team is now 1-1 in MIAA play. One more kneel down and that'll do it. As Hope holds on and the Britons squander many opportunities, John, to put points on the board here in the second half.
Yep, and we'll definitely see that when we go over the stats at the end of the game.
One more kneel down, a little bit of chippiness, as to be expected.
You don't like to see that.
Donovan Slate's kind of getting in the middle of that, but there's no need to snap the ball again, so that'll do it. Final 15 seconds tick off. Both teams go to midfield to shake hands in what has been a very disappointing homecoming Saturday for the Britons. They're going to fall to Hope 29-24. We're going to take a quick timeout. John will give you some stats, and we'll send you home on a Saturday afternoon here on the Britons Football Network.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Back out at Sprinkle Sprandle Stadium on Schmidt-Fraser Field here at the campus of I got it all out other than that. Of Albion College, Jim Bellamy and John Bolello. 29-24, Hope holds on to defeat the previously undefeated Albion Britons. John, this was a tough afternoon of football. I'll give you some conference scores before you give us some end-of-game stats. Kalamazoo in the fourth, leading Finlandia 49-7. Trine defeats Alma 52-24. In your game here, 29-24, Hope beats Albion. John, let's look at the end-of-game stats real quick.
Yeah, so Mason Oppel had himself a great day. 18 for 25, 248 yards with that one long, almost interception. But ended up being a catch by Caccini for 66 yards. Then for rushing, Oppel again leads the way with 80 yards off of 17 attempts. Christian Boss coming behind him with 38 yards on 5 attempts. And the only running back that really got some good yardage was Connor Mellon with 3 attempts for 34 yards. Boss again, number 1 receiver today for the Flying Dutchman, racking in 124 yards off of 10 catches. Cooper Caccini with 4 catches for 95 yards, and Corey Durr with 1 catch for 30 yards. Then if we look at the Britons, Kyle Thomas, 23 for 38, 249 yards, but those 4 interceptions. One of them coming right here at the end of the game, and the other, of course, in the red zone as well. Just, you're shooting themselves in the foot. Then we have Doug Freeman, who had a very good game, just 2 yards under 100 yards. He was, 21 attempts for 98. Kyle Thomas, 9 attempts, 76 yards. Markel McCoy, a little bit of a quiet day. Didn't get as many touches, 6 attempts for 21 yards. Justin Thomas, I thought, played a phenomenal game.
Yep.
A lot of great catches on the sidelines. 9 catches for 83 yards. Tight end Brian Blanzy brought in 3 catches for 54 yards and had that very important one in the third down in the second half. And I think one thing that I find like the most interesting is when you look at the box scores, just Albion being held to no points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And with such a talented offense, that yeah, it's very disappointing to see. But as you know, with those turnovers and penalties, and it adds up.
Well, that's a tough way to end homecoming, but now the question is, how does Coach Rundle's team respond? Again, coming into today 4-0, they're now 4-1, and more importantly, 1-1 in the conference, and what's still a long conference season ahead of them. So a lot of great teams they have to play. Kyle Thomas is going to have to quickly forget about today's game with 4 interceptions and get back to playing the kind of football that we know he and the rest of this team are capable of. Well, John, I want to thank you for coming up from the sideline and doing color for us today. Did an excellent job. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Thanks for not putting me out in the elements today.
Drea and Sam ran the cameras, and Ken was up here in the booth taking care of all the production. We appreciate this broadcast and everybody who worked on it as a production of Richer Productions and FJ Productions for Albion College. I want to thank Matt Aaron and Bobby Lee from the athletic department for all of their assistance, and all the staff here, President Ditzler and everybody at Albion College for all of their hospitality and help. For complete details on today's game, as well as all of the news and notes on the Britons fall sports, visit gobrits.com. And thank you as always. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you for watching this broadcast on the Britons Football Network.